Welcome to the show, everybody out there. What is going on, everybody? This is Strange Brew Podcast. If you don't know, now you know. I'm Tomcat, aka the Raptillion. And who else do I have with me aboard this journey to quotations, one of the coldest places, quotations?
Oh, the Hollow Earth explorer himself, Reverend Kaiju. I started a cult down in Hollow Earth, and they really seem to dig it. It's the cult of Fuck Tom.
Nice.
I actually feel like I'm not too far from Antarctica, to be honest. I feel like Ireland in the last 5 years has had a similar kind of weather, just constant clouds, constantly ice cold, even in summer. With the
That's
exception
because of
What about the
that's
Nazis?
because of global warming.
Get like the handful of Nazis like in Antarctica.
yeah, they're all underground as well.
Yeah. That's because of global warming, man. I don't know how I woke up to snow on the ground. That's crazy. It's crazy, man. I don't know, man. Are you gonna hit a bong hit?
Did everybody?
It's fucking 10 a.m.
Did everybody? Shut the fuck up! You're drinking a beer, you cocksucker.
It's not open yet.
Oh, it's not open yet.
And I have my wake and bake mug.
Why doesn't that have a bowl in it?
Wake and bake.
Yeah, why doesn't that have a bowl attached to it?
Why would I have a bowl?
You've never seen the I have one somewhere. It's a mug that's a coffee mug, but it also has a functioning pipe built into it.
That's fucking sick. There's a bong I want so bad. The one the weed shops I went to, and it's a Cheech and Chong bong, but it's like a Cheech bong where when you hit the bong, it has a mustache on the top of it made out of glass, so you can cool. I fucking want one. I said to Chelsea, I was like, it's only $90. I was like, can we get it?
She's like, no, you've met your spending limit for the lifetime.
Man. It's the coldest, windiest, and arguably the loneliest place on Earth. Antarctica, full of mystery, surrounded by high strangeness, some might say.
Oh, man, so strange. Oh, my God.
Just what makes the icy continent a target for countless and sometimes crazy theories? Some would say it's because it's so isolated from the rest of the world and that access to Antarctica is nearly impossible. And it's not it's not as cold as they fucking say, but
others would say it's Kanye West's fault.
Yeah, they might say that. There is a iceberg, a dick iceberg. Dicks ahoy.
I want to sit on that.
Oh, Aaron is in Antarctica.
Oh, my God.
Teleported here.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on the scene breaking in Antarctica, we have Aaron. Aaron, what's it like down there?
Cold.
Well, you heard it from him, folks.
It's not as cold as they say because can we show this is as we bring into this, we're going to be discussing Antarctica as a whole and all the mystery surrounding Antarctica. But according to John Kerry, it is not as cold as people thinks because this motherfucker is wearing no gloves, no hat, and wearing some sort of dad nerd sweater.
That is weird. He does look like he's just attending his grandkid's fucking graduation somewhere in like the Northeast in the fall.
What kind of sweater is that where you have like the button up shirt underneath and then you have like the sweater over it? Like
what does it mean?
It's like one of those half zips.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like a name for it. You know what I mean? Where they wear like the dress shirt underneath the sweater. And it's
Aren't
just
they
like
fleece?
Yeah. Like
also, man,
sweater.
This dude is fucking skull and bones. So, I mean, he very well may have like a layer of children's skin under that.
100%
warm.
Because that's we're gonna get into a lot of weird stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff in this. So everybody be prepared because it's gonna be a crazy one.
Yeah, get your teeth and ambitions bared. Be prepared.
Yes.
It's a Disney reference for you fuckers.
As we slowly step onto the ice of conspiracy, aliens, and the paranormal, let's get the mainstream facts out of the way, Anton.
Oh, we're starting with me. Okay.
In 1958, scientists made a startling discovery under the ice of Antarctica. Mountains. The Gambergstiff Mountains. The Gambergstiff. Sure. Mountains were discovered when scientists trekking across the ice 2 miles thick suddenly found themselves on thin ice. Beneath the ice, they found a mountain range with peaks 9,000 feet high, stretching for 750 miles. Because We will talk about it later, but Antarctica wasn't always cold and didn't always have ice.
So, fun fact, those mountains, somebody wrote about them in 1931.
Who was it?
H.P. Lovecraft, Mountains of Madness. He
Oh,
wrote
that
about them
racist?
20 years before they were
That
ever
old
discovered.
racist, yeah. Anton, bring me some facts, fucker.
He's an alien.
If he's an alien, then that's it might be slightly a problem. So we have a list of 25 animals that live in Antarctica. Isn't that exciting? We have the Adelaide penguins, which apparently are sitting in a bar right now with this gentleman here.
Yeah, for all the audio listeners, we will be showing pictures and a lot of fun stuff for this episode because it's a long formatted episode. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff we're gonna be showing.
This comes to us from Fauna Facts. I'm trying to give our references here.
Might as well crack open my beer for the bar Antarctica.
One of the most well-known Antarctic animals is the Adelaide penguin. I might be saying that wrong. I'm probably saying it like Adelaide in Australia, but oh well. These flightless
We're the
birds are
king of
found in Antarctica.
mispronunciation, so
They live among ice flows near water sources such as glaciers or rocks where they feed on krill and fish that swim close to shore. The Adelaide penguin is the smallest species of the Antarctic penguins, and it has a black head with white cheeks. So basically every penguin that you ever see a picture of that's not one of like the Madagascar penguins with the little furry feather thingies.
yeah.
But they've actually been known to travel as far north as South Africa. It's South Africa. Another lovely, wonderful animal that people just love to beat to death with a club is the Antarctic fur seal.
Yeah, I love wearing my seal coat, and it's the skin of the singer seal.
So they,
it just kind of got a couple scars on it.
Oh my god!
Hold on a second now. Could that be racist?
What? Because I said what am I? Dahmer was not racist. Okay,
What color?
All
is
I
your
know,
jacket?
all I know is
my jacket is it's white because the pigment left his skin after I cut it off.
Fair enough.
Do you guys know that there used to be a great tower alone on the sea?
I love that song.
And that you became the light on the dark side of me? Did you know that when it snows? Anyways. Joke's on all of you. This isn't about Antarctica. It's about seal. So these seals live in more or less the same area as the penguins, a bunch on rocky coasts, and they have a similar diet. So they tend to molt from March to September because the region has 24 hours of daylight, which causes them to get so fucking stressed that their hair falls out.
It's so sunny, man. I've been awake for fucking 5 days.
Pretty much, yeah. They don't get enough sleep. So one of the few things that humans will die very quickly without is sleep. And the same goes for most animals.
That's true.
So yeah, we also have the apex predator of the sea. Anybody want to venture a guess as to what that is?
A whale.
It is. Well, it's technically. Are orcas? Yeah, orcas. I feel like orcas are technically porpoises, right? They're not whales.
Like
they're a little closer to the dolphin family.
I don't know. I'm not
like
outside hunting whales.
They're considered a giant crab.
Yeah,
no, that's what's
this
in
winter
Tom's
coat's
pants.
going to get hot for this episode.
You're the one that wanted to wear it.
Well, I am in Antarctica, okay? And it's way too warm down here. People think it's so cold, and that's why they can't visit. That's what they want you to think. So you can't discover the thick wall of ice that separates us from the hollow or the flat Earth. We're gonna get into that a little bit, but not much.
So we also have blue whales, a spattering of other seabirds.
Nice.
Chinstrap penguin, not to be confused with the one that we were talking about before. This one has 2 black stripes under its chin. So therefore, you see, completely and utterly different.
Nice.
We have the crab eater seals that are known to live on a diet exclusively of whatever's in Tom's pants.
Nice.
They live around ice flows. So, when you see like all the images of chunking of floating chunks of ice and shit like that, that's where you're going to find those sweet guys. The emperor penguin, which I personally like to believe that H.P. Lovecraft was also correct about, and that they're 6 feet tall and they're actually mutated shoggoths. So, that's just my thoughts on that. They can be up to
Nice.
4 feet tall and weigh 100 pounds. Could you imagine getting chased by one of those things? Or like 5 of them? Like you're gonna get your ass kicked
The
by
image of
fucking
that.
penguins.
Yeah, they're fucking pretty dangerous if you fuck with them. They got those like teeth on them too.
I bet you they're pretty top heavy though. You can probably push them over.
Yeah, like bowling balls, man. Like bowling pins, just fucking knock them over.
So we have the fin whale as well, which can get up to 160,000 pounds. The Gentoo penguin, which is this nifty looking like speckled thing.
Can you read it like that guy that does all those nature documentaries? What's his name?
David Attenborough.
Yeah, Attenborough. Can you read it like that, please?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember what David Attenborough sounds like. However, I can do my best to give you a Jacques Cousteau, if you would prefer. So here we have the Gentoo penguin. They love to build their nests out of rock, out of twig, and out of poop. It gets its name from a distinctive white feather marking on the head of juveniles and breeding adults, but otherwise, it looks the same as other penguin species. Number 12, the hourglass dolphin.
You
The
just got
hourglass
animal
dolphin
facts. What? That's
is
what you
a
got.
unique dolphin that can be found in Antarctic waters. This mammal averages about 6 to 8 feet long and weighs about 240 pounds. The most interesting thing about this animal is its face. Its sweet, adorable little face. The top half is black, while the bottom half is Kanye West.
Kanye's vest.
It is the Kanye's vest made out of the dolphins. We also will go down to meet the wonderful creature, the humpback whale. And you all know about humpback whales, and if you don't, go back to 2nd grade science. Do you guys like seagulls?
You're gonna talk about seagulls now?
You're lying. Nobody likes seagulls. They are fucking beach chickens.
Beach chickens.
In addition to there having an emperor in Antarctica, there are also plenty of kings. Penguins, that is. King penguins. They are carnivorous and they love to kill.
What do they
Speaking
kill?
of kill, there's a very large portion of krill which live in Antarctica and are eaten by fucking everything. Who likes seals? We know Tom does because he's wearing his skin.
Fuck.
We have the leopard seal, which is what caused Tom to spill his beer all over his balls.
Keep going.
We
Welcome
have the
to Antarctica.
macaroni penguin, which, despite its name, does not know how to make craft dinner.
Fuck. I don't know what to do.
Tom is currently drowning. The ice caps are melting.
Tom made his way to Hollow Earth and fell into the sauna.
Oh my god. Keep
What
going
did
with
you
your
do?
facts. I spilled my beer everywhere.
We have the mink whale. They are the second smallest baleen whale, and they can be found in all of Earth's oceans, but they prefer areas with cold water, ice, and a little bit of bourbon. Are any of these animals popping out at you, Aaron, to become your next spirit animal?
I was going to say seagull, but I actually don't like them at all because we get a lot of them around here and they always shit on my car and destroy the paintwork. Giant
Give me a
6
second.
foot, over 6 foot tall penguins kind
I'll
of
edit
sound.
this. Oh, fucking stupid ass fucking ideas are gonna fucking weird.
I would agree, and someone needs to mute their microphone.
Wipe this up. Wipe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom ventured out into an Antarctic expedition, and it was then that tragedy struck.
Wipe.
His ship hit an iceberg
Sweaty in this fucking.
without breaking the hull, but it did spill his beer all over his technical equipment. The fated expedition was delayed by another 4 days. 4 lives were lost, and 4 roasts were burnt.
I'm moving this one.
Fucking goddamn this fucking bullshit.
So everyone knows about the seal that has the big penis hanging off the front of its face. Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit!
I think his ship is sinking.
Off in the distance,
All right, I'm back.
the distress cries of Thomas's lost ship can be heard as he hits the iceberg and spilled his beer.
All right, I'm back.
Well, you're just in time for everyone's favorite seal, the one with the big penis on the front of its face.
What
The
does that have a big
southern
penis?
elephant seal. It's the one with the giant nose that looks like a small elephant trunk or a big fat wrinkly chode. We also, if we look to our right, we see the southern right whale. It is a good whale, covered in barnacles. Do you know any fun facts about the walrus?
They like to fuck each other. I don't know. There's something about that.
They have the second largest penis of any land mammal. I have the first.
That's stupid. God, man, can't believe that. What a start to the show.
There's
I
a bunch
spilled
of
my
other
beer all
birds
over
that
the
live
place.
here, but no one cares because birds are fucking fake and stupid and government drones. Thomas, we come back to you.
Okay,
That has been Animal Facts by Jacques Pupin.
this nightmare fuel. It's a nightmare fuel.
Just like the beers that you spilled on your laptop.
Yeah, that's fucking horrible. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. So I thought I had a picture of this. This is going great. Fucking dog outside. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna scream out my window. Shut your dog up.
They have dogs in that there too?
Yeah. They're on
like
my
dags?
side.
Not in the paradigm in. We don't have dogs here.
You like dags? Do you
Like
like
dags?
dags?
The fuck would I want a broken carbon for?
Okay, there is a thing in Antarctica. It's pretty crazy, and it's called the Blood Falls. Have you ever heard of it?
I only know the blood falls when I eat too much Chipotle.
Nice.
The nightmare fuel looks like a deleted scene from The Shining, but it's actually caused by ferrous hydroxide, an iron-containing salt. The blood-red salt sludge is basically leaking out of a glacier after some scientists think it took probably 1 million years. Researchers and visitors refer to this horror show as Blood Falls.
I don't believe them. I don't believe that it's salt. I believe that they have accidentally stabbed some creature that makes up the majority of the ice, and it is now in dramatic pain, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
No, it's the giants of Antarctica, and some bitch is on a rag.
Oh,
Do you know what it is? What it actually is? Do you remember in Blade, and it's probably in numerous other vampire movies where they have those like they sacrifice people and the blood like runs down through all the channels and
Oh,
like into
yeah.
a central thing. I think that's
Nice.
all like the Illuminati and the occult and all underground, and that's their like funnel.
So are you saying that we could go just get a cup and get free adrenochrome?
I reckon so. This is why they won't let you travel there, you see.
Mm.
Oh, the poor alien.
Do you know who played in Antarctica? Do you know? In 2013, heavy metal legends Metallica became the first band to play Antarctica when they performed for a crowd of 120 in a protective dome on the continent. The name of the show? Freeze them all! Of course.
Look who thinks they're fucking Death Clock. Fuck you, Metallica. I hate you so much.
I am not a fan.
No, Metallica sucks.
It's one of Aaron's favorite bands.
Yeah, so I have a giant Metallica tattoo across.
It's just a giant portrait of Lars Ulrich that takes up your entire chest.
and it's him like in modern day where he has like 2 strands of hair.
Sing me.
It's just it's Lars, but like put over the Calvin decal, and he's just pissing on Napster. How has nobody made that? I realize it's like a 30-year-old reference at this point, but that needs to be a thing.
Sing me one Metallica song. I'm waiting.
Yeah! There you go.
They do Master of Puppets, right?
Yeah, they do Master.
I don't know any words, but
I'm drinking
I
a bone shaker. Have you ever tried this?
You're drinking a half of a bone shaker.
Yeah, it definitely is at half by now. It went everywhere. It's not a great idea when you have electronics everywhere.
It went everywhere except where it's supposed to go, which is in your mouth.
The crowd had to wear headphones during the show in order to protect the wildlife from the damaging amplification.
Could you just imagine if like some penguins wandered over and they're like, dude, the penguins love our sound. They want to hear us. And the penguins just start booing and telling Lars to learn how to play the drums.
Or they die. They just start dying in fucking mass formation, just like fucking like looking like they're all like, bowling pins falling over.
They all pull out little guns and just ritualistically kill themselves at a Metallica show because like this is what humans are doing to the earth. I'm done.
Why do they do this stupid show for 120 people and
because
then
they think they're death clock?
It's so fucking weird. That is a weird thing that they're like, yo, we're gonna play in Antarctica, and and then have you ever seen those like headphone parties? It's fucking weird.
Silent discos, yeah, of course.
Have you been to one?
No, but everybody keeps
Aaron,
saying
you've been to one?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Well, at the time, I was like out of my mind on tablets and stuff, so it seemed like fun.
It would be so weird to take off the
way
headphones
to do it,
and be like, whoa, I'm in a different place right now. Everyone's just rocking out into silence.
You should just take a really heroic dose, Tom, and then go to a silent disco. You'd fucking love it.
Yeah, I'd do it. You wouldn't think that a place that is largely covered in snow and ice would be dry, would you? But that's the case with Antarctica. It's the driest place on Earth. In fact, it's actually classified as a cold desert. Talk about a dry spell. There are even dry valleys in Antarctica and that haven't experienced precipitation for 2 million years.
That's how they're judging it for being dry, is that it doesn't rain?
Yeah, sure. 98% of the continent is covered in ice, but this is the driest place on the planet, after all. Antarctica is still intensely cold despite the low precipitation, with howling winds contributing to the overall discomfort. Even though, right, according to John Kerry and David Wilcock, it's not as cold as they say.
I did listen to a good chunk of that David Wilcock thing you sent me. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I love David Wilcock.
Are we going to get into him?
Yes, we will down the road. And I don't give a fucking shit what people think about him, because if 30% of what he's saying is accurate, I'm on board.
Well, so that's, yeah.
You don't like it? I've read, I see, and everyone like shits on him, but I've actually read his books. So I'm always like, people stop. If you want to shit on him, read a book and then fucking tell me.
I'm assuming a good portion of the people that do shit on him have read his books and they're like, it's fucking drivel.
It's not. It's really fun. I love his books. And there is stuff inside of his books that are 100% accurate and that are real information, but some of it is, it's just taken out of context. And
yeah, bits like Antarctica being a real place. That's a fact.
So you're a fucking flat earther, you fucking piece of shit. Sorry.
What?
Because they don't believe Antarctica exists. Because
no, I said Antarctica is a real place, and that's in his book, and that's a fact.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know, man. David Weiss is screaming at his radio right now. Who's first spotted in Antarctica is debated by historians. Who was first spotted? Who was there? But generally agree that human eyes didn't spot the continent until 1820 or so. British, Russia, and the U.S. ships who were all in the area around that time. It speaks volumes about the inhospitable Antarctica, is that no one has stepped foot on the continent until 1895. But that is a lie.
So they actually, like, it's been written about since the Greeks, I believe, according to that Nat Geo doc that I was talking to, that I was watching. They like, I don't know how, like, how do you think a cartographer did that? Was just like, no, there is definitely, like, do you think it was similar math to how they discover like planets and galaxies and shit that we don't know about by just looking at the gravitational pull of something, or like maybe weather patterns or something?
I don't know. It's strange though, that's for sure. See, and there's structures everywhere. Nobody knows why.
Those definitely
Nobody
don't look
knows.
like melting ice formations.
That is 100% something underneath the ice. Okay, how there is no perfect. That's not perfect, but there's not. That's
No, that's far from symmetrical. That looks like actual
it looks
erosion.
like a building underneath it. I don't know, man. I don't know, but we'll get into it.
He built it.
Yeah.
Tom built it
So
himself.
do you have any more facts there, fucker? Before we,
Yeah, I have plenty of facts. I thought we were like,
all right, bring it on, fuckface.
oh, I thought we were fucking going back and forth.
Bring it on, fuckface.
I do have a theory about Antarctica though.
Okay, do you want to? Let's hear Aaron's theory first.
Yeah, I want to see, especially you, Tom. I want to see your
Okay.
reaction to it. So my theory is, what if Antarctica is actually not that interesting, and the reason that we don't go there or have any interest in it is because it's just a barren shithole, basically, and
It's
that's
not-
why.
No,
So,
no. It's there. There is fucking why were the Nazis there? First of all, which we'll get into. Why? Okay. Why are you allowed to go there? Why does it cost so much fucking money when it's not as cold as they fucking say it is? There's so much clean water there. There's tons of stuff. Tell me why. Tell me why.
So you
Ain't
want
nothing but a frozen place. Tell me why. Hitler put up his camp base there. I don't know. I was like trying to go off the top.
That was nearly about to sound like a song.
yeah.
All right, give me another fact there, Cracker.
Are you? I'm still reeling from whatever fucking just brain melting
Tell
acid you
me
just
why.
spit out of your mouth.
I saw that. Is that
the
Backstreet
fun
Boys or
reason,
NSYNC?
the real reason, I would say, the logical reason for why that is because humans fucking ruin everything. So look at any town that has a high tourist population. The touristy area is fantastic. The rest of the fucking area is in utter shambles 90% of the time.
Yeah, look at
because
California.
Because tourists come and fuck shit up. So that's why Antarctica is
No,
so
I think the
expensive.
homeless fuck shit up. That's why we need to euthanize them, make them sign up for MADS. All right, come
All
here,
right, settle
maids
the
or whatever
fuck
it's called.
down, Trudeau.
Okay, let's go.
So, the Trans-Antarctic Expedition. On October
a bunch of people
14th,
in high heels and lipstick?
1965, Jeremy Bailey, David Wild, and John Wilson, 4 men were riding a Muskegon tractor and its sledges near the Heimfront Mountains, to the east of their base at the Halley Research Center to the east of their base at the Halley Research Station in East Antarctica, close to the Weddell Sea. The Muskegon was a heavy-duty vehicle designed to haul people and supplies over long distances on the ice. A team of dogs ran behind. That's fucked. The 3 of the men were in the cab. The 4th, John Ross, sat behind the sledge at the back close to the Huskies. Jeremy Bailey, a scientist measuring the depth of the ice beneath the tractor, was driving. He and David Wild, a surveyor, and John Wilson, a doctor, were scanning the ice ahead. Snow obscured much of the small, flat windscreen. The group had been traveling all day, taking turns to warm up in the cab or sit out back on the sledge. Ross was staring out at the vast ice, snow, and Stella Group mountains. At about 8:30, the dogs alongside the sledge stopped running. The sledge had ground to a halt. Ross, muscled with a balaclava and 2 anoraks, had heard nothing. He turned to see that the Muskegon was gone. Ahead, the first sledge was leaning down into the ice. Ross ran up to it to find that it had wedged in the top of a large crevasse, running directly across their course. The Muskegon itself had fallen about 30 meters, so 100 feet, into the crevasse. Down below, its tracks were wedged vertically against one ice wall, and the cab had been flattened hard against the other. Ross shouted down. There was no reply from the 3 men in the cab. After about 20 minutes of shouting, Ross heard a reply. The exchange, as he recorded it from memory soon after the event, was brief. Do you guys want to do this with me?
I don't know what we're doing.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. When I do this voice, I die. That's Ross. And when I do this voice, it's Bailey.
Okay. Ross and Bailey.
Die. Die's dead. It's me. Is that John or Jerry? Jerry. How is John? He's a goner, mate. What about yourself? I'm all smashed up. Can you move about at all? Or tie a rope around yourself? I'm all smashed up. Ross tried climbing down into the crevasse, but the descent was difficult. Bailey told him not to risk it, but Ross tried anyway.
Risk it for the biscuit, bro.
After several attempts, Bailey stopped responding to Ross's calls. Ross heard a scream from the crevasse. After that, Bailey didn't respond. Crevasses, deep clefts in the ice stretching down hundreds of feet, are serious threats while traveling across the Antarctic. On 14th of October,
I
1965,
love a deep crevasse.
there had been strong winds
Or a
kicking
big
up drifts
crevasse.
and spreading snow far over the
Better.
landscape. According to reports on the accident held at the British Antarctic Survey Archives, this concealed the top of the chasms, and crucially, the thin blue line, ACAB, baby, in the ice and ahead of each drop that would have warned the men to stop. You can imagine there's a bit of drift about, and there's bits of ice on the windscreen. Your fingers are bloody cold, and you think it's about time to stop anyway, says Rod. Rice Jones, one of the expedition party who had not gone on that trip with the Muskeg. He points to the crevassed area the Muskeg had been driving over on a map of the continent spread over his coffee table, littered with books on the Antarctic. You're driving along over the ice, thumping and bumping and banging. You don't even see the little blue line. Jones questions whether the team had been given adequate training for the hazards of travel in Antarctica. They were young men, mostly fresh out of university. Many of them had little experience in harsh physical conditions. Much of their time preparing for life in Antarctica was spent learning to use the scientific equipment they would need, not training on them on how to avoid accidents on the ice. Each accident in Antarctica has slowly led to changes in the way people traveled and were trained. Reports filed after the incident recommended several ways to make travel through crevassed regions safer, from adapting the vehicle to new ways to hitch them together.
300 people just fell asleep. The crevasse. Is that a baked good that I can eat with butter on it?
And 300 people just stopped listening to the show.
Just kidding.
Hey, Aaron, you want to pick it up with some Nazis, seeing as how Tom is the biggest Nazi douchebag on the planet?
Poor Una. Wait, no, poor you. We're not even getting into that yet. We have plenty to get through first. You fuckers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just putting you to sleep.
Well, you're fucking David Attenborough over there.
That wasn't my David Attenborough. I quit the podcast.
Here's a question. Do you think if you actually went to Antarctica, it would be as interesting as it is to like theorize about all this? Because I was thinking about that and I was like realistically, like if you went there, even if it was super cheap, like what are you really going to be able to discover?
You're gonna go look for Hollow Earth. You have to find out where
and you're
the
probably
Nazis
gonna
were
fucking
boring.
die in the process of going out there.
Man, they keep saying this shit. I don't think so, man. They have the technology that we have on Earth right now.
Your average tourist isn't going to have that tech. Your average tourist is going to show up with a fucking Columbia jacket.
People are not going to go there unless they're looking for the Hollow Earth, bro.
Not true. If they allowed travel, everybody would go there. They'd be like, "Oh, we're
really?
going to Antarctica." Yeah, because people love doing dumb shit that other people don't do. They're going to go. It's going to be stupid. They're going to get themselves bored, get into trouble, and they're going to fuck up the ecosystem.
There's obviously only certain places that would be fairly interesting for, for a big area, it's you're just gonna be walking a lot. It's gonna be like Lord of the Rings.
See, like I was watching a couple of videos that were really cool of them going around and finding like taking a census of the aquatic life. Now, being on a boat like that and having a base camp somewhere, I think that would be really cool. But most of the time too, nobody's hanging out, partying, fucking or
I would love to
drunk.
do like
they're
7
sitting there
grams of mushrooms
cataloging shit
in
like
Antarctica.
Dude, you would probably lose your mind. Although I would imagine the fucking things you could tap into. Like if mushrooms are in fact just a gateway to the other psychic realms, imagine the shit you could tap into. Because there was a point in time in our long history where Antarctica made up a part of a Pangea style continent, and it was a completely different place.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. And it's like you start tripping out, and then you see Hitler wave at you like that military dad in It.
He's like, wearing a Hawaiian shirt and shorts for some reason with a cocktail in it and a coconut in his hand. He's like, "Come on, we're done with all that master race shit. Just come down
to the Hollow Earth."
We
And
found
then-
out that
yeah.
it was quite nice here, and you know what? I've made my own utopia. There's no eugenics. There's no bullshit. It's just I'm different Hitler. I'm new Hitler. I'm chill Hitler.
When he
But
went
so
to
help me God, if you
we've
spill a
talked to
beer,
there.
people send you to the Cape.
He supposedly had if he didn't actually go to Hollow Earth, which was kind of discussed, he definitely went to Argentina, and he most likely had a wife who was black.
Do you
So-
think? Do you think Hitler just like got bored one day and was like, you know what? This is a paradise, but those penguins over there, they look a little inferior. So I'm going to build a small fenced-in area.
Yeah,
I'm going to
he
take all of
started
these penguins,
euthanizing
the
the
weak
fucking penguins.
ones, because I've noticed that penguin family is getting a little weaker with every generation. So I'm going to take the weakest amongst them and put them in the Cape.
I do think that he probably did that. If he was bored in Hollow Earth, it's like, what can I kill?
You know what? It would have been really easy for him as well to have escaped and then just like disappear without anybody really knowing him. All he had to do was just shave off that little mustache. And it
I
was
know,
like-
and there's pictures of him supposedly
Actually,
in Argentina and stuff like that where they left. And then obviously if you go to Argentina, there was, especially around the 50s and 60s, probably the 70s, there was a lot of places that really celebrated the Nazi heritage.
Look, I'm just saying. Okay, so there were German villages in South America well before Hitler ever took
Yeah,
power, but there
'cause they
are still a
loved the
lot of
Germans.
buildings that have the swastika on them. When we covered our Nazi Hunter episodes,
Yeah.
there was that whole cafe that just had a bunch of SS
Yeah.
China in it.
Crazy.
So out of conspiracy theories, that is one of the few ones that I do subscribe to, that Hitler most assuredly escaped.
Very funny. It's just a show. It's a famous show, so I'm gonna shout out. But like, did you see that Tom Segura got Bert Kreischer Hitler's teacup?
Yes, I
It's
did
just
hear about that.
That's so
This is
funny.
Hitler's teacup?
And he's like, because he can't, like, every time he laughs, his fucking voice goes to a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
octave. And he's like, it was fucking hilarious because he's like, he's like, what did you get me? And he's like, it's not Nazi memorabilia, is it? And he's like, I have to destroy this. It was so fucking funny. Poor Una. A former secretary in Falkland Islands. Not much is known about her except that she must have had a strong impression on the men responsible for naming a particular geographical feature in Antarctica Peninsula. Until 2008, the pair of peaks in the center of this photograph that we are showing was known seriously as Una's tits.
What?
They called this peak Una's tits
Wow.
till 2008. And then they're like, we don't like it. It's sexist.
I mean,
pull the
was
fucking...
Una into it? Because then they just took something away from her.
Man, Una's probably got huge tits because German chicks, I feel like that's a German name.
No, they're not huge. They're actually just that same exact shape. They're weird and pointed.
It's
And
funny
she has a
because
third
it's
one
like,
that's like
do
emerging
you
from the
remember
middle.
that chick we saw in Germany with the huge tits? Like, there they are, as mountains. And it's a huge mountain that doesn't even look like tits.
I'm going to need
Um,
everyone to leave the front of the boat for about 5 minutes. I need to just stare at
Just
these
like-
for a little bit.
Do you think that she had one of those very pointy 50s bras, and that's why they named because the mountains are very pointy? Do you remember those? Like, and then everyone's boobs in the 50s seemed to be pointy.
I just assumed that it was upside down and they were talking about her vulva because it had been blown out by so much sausage.
Yeah, in resounding in a resounding victory for feminists. Just kidding. It was changed to the family-friendly name and still is Una Peaks, which still sounds like an 80s porn star.
That definitely sounds like a porn star name, yeah.
What do you think, Aaron?
I'm just thinking, I can't stop thinking here about, I was going to show up to this today dressed in a Gestapo uniform.
Oh, that would have been fucking hilarious. What, do you have that for some reason? Do you have Nazi memorabilia in your home?
Can you say Gestapo?
No, I don't.
What is it? Why was that such a...
There was some shifty-eyed movements going on there.
I've just seen all the stuff that's gone on recently about like that dude in the bar in New York that showed up for Halloween dressed as a Nazi.
Oh, God.
And everybody
You
told him to
talking
get the fuck
about
out.
one of the royal families, Harry?
No, but I seen that as well, that new Harry and Meghan thing and him dressed up as a...
I'm not even going to watch it. Fuck that. Chelsea's like, what are you watching with me? I'm like, maybe. I'm like, it's probably going to be
You've
a
already
bunch of
seen it
stuff.
all, haven't you?
No, I'm not a fan of the royal family, if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but like I said in that one story, when I was in Cuba, I told this older British couple that their queen was a lizard when I was drunk in 19. I was like, did you know, like, that queen, she's a fucking reptilian. She's a being that eats babies and drinks their blood. And they're like, and they actually still talk to me after the next day.
I was going to say, how did they respond to that?
Isn't that fun? Let the strangeness begin.
Get in.
Pyramids of Antarctica. Strange, some might say. Perhaps one of the most interesting topics when talking about Antarctica is the mysteries are alleged. Of all these mysteries are alleged maybe these pyramids located there, covered in a thick layer of ice. According to many authors, there are secrets in Antarctica that kept hidden away from the public. Numerous images have surfaced in the last couple years showing what seems to be a supermassive structures on Antarctica. Some of these are frozen monuments and have been compared to the majestic and ancient structures like the pyramids of Giza. It is fucking strange, though, that they have these like 100%. You guys heard about this before, right?
Why is that? Yeah. Why is there so much erosion though? Because like, if you look at like the pyramids in Giza and the pyramids that you find in like, isn't there a Tolteca pyramid or whatever? Like, they all have essentially kind of symmetrical sides. Like, they
it
may
is
be
weird.
worn
That's
from
not
sand
found
and stuff,
in.
but like, why is that all craggy? Like it's a natural mountain.
Yeah, I don't know. This one looks more, this is the main one. There's different pyramids on Antarctica, but we're showing an image that you can find on Google. This is the one that people think could be some sort of, like Giza pyramid type style.
That one is reminiscent of Giza as it has a smaller pyramid next to it.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude. And I got speculations, right? But I think, right, if you were to be, and we'll get into it, a race of beings, or if you needed to have a base away from the rest of civilization to maybe conduct experiments or to do some horrendous stuff or to maybe hang out with the aliens, maybe you got the reptilians hanging out with the grays and they're just chilling out, and like it would be a place just like the inside of the oceans is another place of speculation of where aliens might be. They might not be above in the skies. They might be in some sort of aquatic base, which could be even located near Antarctica, or they could be, because supposedly, we'll get into it, there's huge layers of ice, and underneath all that ice, there's actually civilizations that existed on Antarctica way before it was ever a frozen tundra.
Well, we keep learning that civilization is in fact older than we think it is by finding new places like the temples in the jungle that have been found recently down in South America, which they're starting to have to look at and be like, maybe life started here. So going back to when Antarctica was green, it's entirely possible that maybe there are structures and civilizations on there that have just been lost to time through miscellaneous ice ages. I mean, there's a creature that survived 3 ice ages in Antarctica. So
yeah, it's the bug, right?
It's the bug. Yeah, do you have the image? Because I have it right here. The one off of Scientific American. It looks so cool.
I didn't see what it looked like. Can you bring it up?
Here, I'll share screen, yeah.
Insect lovers living in Antarctica only have one species to observe. The Belgasica?
It's a weird name. Yeah, hang on. I'm gonna share my screen.
This wingless fly is also the continent's largest terrestrial animal. I don't know how it's an animal, but at just 2 to 6 millimeters long, it is also quite a trooper as a larva. It survives the total freezing of its bodily fluids. Isn't that crazy? Oh, that's fucking nut. It looks crazy. It looks like an alien.
It does. No, but that's the thing is that like, a lot of aliens and shit that we like, things that we look at is like that and stuff in the deep sea that are just things that are literally so alien to us that it's like, I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me. And I absolutely,
that's crazy. Do you think that priests like open up their buttholes, let that crawl in there? And
I think that is actually what makes a priest. It's like Animorphs. You know how they have those worms that would crawl into your ear and then would take you over? But here's a 3-way picture of it.
Oh, I love 3-ways.
It's engaged in a 3-way.
Nice.
That looks like fucking that Freddy worm from that
scene. Oh, it does.
It totally does. In
Freddy hits the bong that smokes the bong with fucking the Jason Mewes lookalike.
Yeah. Also, that guy was dime store Jason Mewes for sure.
100%.
Is that Kurt Connors on the background.
Where?
Kurt
The
Connors.
lizard. Dr. Connors.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yes,
I
it
love him
is.
so much.
He looks like the typical reptilian being, but according to some people, the reptilians actually look like some sort like a velociraptor, which you would see in the movie Jurassic.
What about the Velocipaster?
But what? So stupid.
So white and bristly when alive, Tolbergia quickly dries out and dies when exposed to air. On this individual's remains, stained with dye and greatly enlarged, the hard exoskeleton appears red. The softer, cuticle-like membrane looks green. 2 eye holes are visible at the base of the antenna, right here.
Things
right
creepy looking.
Or sorry, right here and right here.
How do you guys feel about bugs? I'm not a fan. I think they're creepy. I remember watching. There's like some sort of I think it was like a 60s movie, and I remember like watching it as a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. And this guy was just, I don't even know what it is, but it always like it stuck with me. Of this guy wakes up and there's this huge like beetle on his fucking face. And it's one of those like, you know those movies. What's that movie where the guy? Fuck, I'm not gonna remember this. He plays some sort of Greek emperor, like fucking Caesar or something.
Caligula?
Like that. No, not that movie, because I used to jerk off that movie too much.
Of course you
did. One of the most
boobies in this one.
So much boobies, man. They got
because it was published by Penthouse.
Well, and they have that awesome sex room that he goes to. It's fucking sweet.
I just remember Burgess Meredith more than anything else in that fucking movie. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember like that was like what was like one of the most controversial films in film history, next to some Tinto Brass films and.
Well, and Malcolm McDowell doesn't even like to acknowledge that he was in that movie half the time. If you meet him at a convention, you're like, "Sign my copy of Caligula." He's like, "Fuck off."
But I figured that did happen, and it's one of those like, you know, those movies where what's that fucking goddamn it, a famous actor from back in the day that played like Moses or some shit.
Oh, Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. It looked like one of those kind of films. You know, they were
like I Am Legend, like kind or Omega. Sorry, I Am Legend is Vincent Price. Omega Man is Charlton
something
Heston.
like that. It had this big beetle on the guy's face, and he woke up and freaked out, and it's just like, and he like stabbed it with like a stick. And big bugs creep me the fuck out. Like, imagine if we were on a different planet, or there's some species of bugs that we don't know about that we discover in Antarctica or something like that.
Go all the way back to like prehistory and shit, and look at what they were talking about, like with the size of dragonflies or the size of beetles back in the day.
No, thank you.
Right? That shit will devour you. I mean, I like bugs. Like, I find them fascinating. But I can't remember what the quote was, but it was something about like God is clearly an insect because like it's the most prosperous species on the planet. Like there are more different specialist type species of beetles than anything else on the planet.
Yeah, everyone talks about the greys and the reptilians. Me and Billy did a whole episode about the mantis creatures and
the
like
insectoids or whatever.
Oh man, the mantis like it's fucking, because that would be freaky to meet that thing, and it like gives you like telepathic waves, and you're like put out your hand to shake it, and you're like, fucking never mind.
Just the little antennas, and it's doing that weird like scuttle twitch head thing, and you're like.
Because supposedly David Wilcock talks about how like there was obviously giants in Antarctica and all this stuff, and that they had to adapt, and they seeded us here and stuff like that. And because the environment was changing, they couldn't live on the planet. So essentially, with evolution, so to speak, with maybe alien intervention, we had to become shorter and shorter and shorter until we became the race called the Irish.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't worry, I'm only fucking 5'6" or some shit. Chelsea,
bit rude, but
yeah, it's a bit rude.
Hey, man, I got Irish blood in me. Don't you worry.
Yeah, he goes and gets transfusions like once a month.
You're one of those.
Every time I drink whiskey, I start punching anything that's close to me.
Well, yeah, you're not too far off then, to be fair.
We were just having a conversation about that. There's a big Doug Stanhope bit where he's like, everyone talks shit about America. He's like, but I've been to Europe, and those fuckers are insane.
Well, science says no about the pyramids. There are a few reasons why authors and UFO hunters would say yes. Probably one of the most mysterious things about Antarctica is the ancient map, which illustrates now 2 ice-covered continents free of ice. The Parisi's map is one of the most controversial charts ever discovered on Earth, and according to some interpretations, it depicts Antarctica, the 5th largest continent on Earth, free of ice. So the Paris The Paria Rheasis. I mean, David Wilcox said it, and I'd now forget how to pronounce it.
Are we assuming that it presents it as free of ice because they see animals?
No, look at the map. It's like there's not. It's the way it's depicted, right? There was boats going through it. It looks like there's wildlife, trees. You can see stuff. We're showing the map right now.
Well, that would be water and not land if there's boats
Yeah.
going through it. The rest of that looks like the land. That is water. No,
Animals.
the whole strait in the middle that has ships in it is water. And then on the coast, there's animals. See? So that to me is just somebody actually went down there and was like, oh, look, no, there's plenty of stuff down here. When in actuality, the only place people that shit lives is like the coastal areas and the water. So
Yeah.
that doesn't seem controversial or
I don't
inaccurate
know.
to me at all.
Composed by the Turkish admiral Piri Reis. The map is a combination of much older maps, around 20 ancient charts that have been since lost. So this is only a portion of it. Like
Mhm.
we're in some sort of Indiana Jones movie, which there's a new one coming, people.
I
There'll
saw
be
that.
a lot of muttering and like I'm gonna find the Nazis. So who could have? That's how he talks. You never noticed how Harrison Ford talks? Like kind of like this. There's a plane coming.
Get off my plane. Get off my plane.
So who could have mapped the mystery continent at that time when it was free of ice? Millions of years ago, many would say, well, it has been mapped out by builders of the Antarctica pyramids. Just maybe.
No, definitely. Because
Just
if you're somebody
maybe.
that builds pyramids, you're also a cartographer, right?
Yes. That could be possible, man. Look what the Egyptians were doing, man. You have no idea what
That
what
was
is
a
possible.
society. That's not individual people.
Several images have been circulating online of the alleged, allegedly proving the pyramid structures buried underneath Antarctica. These images are said to have been obtained via an ocean drilling program, an international project underwater exploration. While many argue that these structures are evidence of a long lost civilization inhabiting Antarctica in the distant past, scientists remain skeptical, saying that these are just weird shaped mountains and not evidence of an actual ancient civilization. No fun, man. It's not fun when
Wait, why are you showing my
s-
screen?
I see what you're doing. The truth is that the expeditions to Antarctica are nearly impossible, extremely costly, and very dangerous. Without adequate equipment, a human being wouldn't last very long on this icy continent. Okay, the pyramids aren't the only thing on Antarctica that are part of. So apparently, there are more structures, and we'll get to it. What do you guys think about the pyramids, man? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, the pyramids are kind of trippy, and I think that while it's also extremely likely that they are just natural formations, through millions of years of erosion and stuff, I like to entertain the idea that there was an advanced civilization down there. Yeah,
And we'll get to it.
as long as it doesn't tiptoe into Kanye territory, I like it.
Tiptoe through the races.
I really want it to be real.
Mhm.
And I've always been fascinated by Antarctica, but I think the more I researched this for this episode, the more I was like, in a way, reluctantly being like proved wrong on a lot of things. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Did you
No,
Did
don't-
you not get all my Biblioteca Palladia's fucking articles?
Yeah, the most reputable of all sources, people. The
I
Biblioteca.
had to check out, like, even and I'm normally not that type of person, but even David Wilcox, I about halfway through I started to check out. I was like, okay, this is.
That's crazy. I
You're
love
gonna-
his talks, man. Love it.
And I thought I was going to, and I was at first. I was kind of digging it. Now I do kind of I did enjoy it, but I was like, wow, he is talking an awful lot of fucking dribble.
Yeah.
All of it is factual. Supposedly, they're rounding up the Cabal right now. We will get to it later, but their stuff and works by the Alliance to help further the evolution of the consciousness and the ascension of the civilizations that are on Earth right now.
So are you guys a fan of playing devil's advocate for stuff?
I'll play Reptilian Advocate, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. So go play Reptilian Advocate. So then, Tom, I want you to do a mental exercise for me right now and for our listeners. Okay, you ready?
Okay. Mhm.
Justify the existence of the Illuminati. I want you rack your brain and tell me why, if the Illuminati exists and they're doing what you think they do, it's for the good of humanity.
Oh, I have to like. Oh,
You have to justify it.
We are going to eradicate 50 to maybe even 80% of the population so that people can thrive in an existence that is, we can be healthier. We can actually have enough food and sustainability. These children can be used for their blood, and it is extremely tasty. It will keep you young. You don't have to worry about their screams or anything like that because they're just inanimate objects used for our bloodlust, and they will help stay. You'll look like Jennifer Aniston for your entire life, and you will look sexy and young. And we just got to make sure that we get thousands of them to keep George Soros alive, because without him, our structure falls apart. Because supposedly this alliance with this man, David Wilcock, that looks eerily like Edgar Casey, is coming to round us up, and we have to be careful because without us, humanity will not survive. Do you like that?
That was actually a lot better than I thought you were going to do. Bravo. Well done. Well done. I would have added that we're using children because, you see, it's an infinitely renewable resource. They only have to reach several months of age, and then we can just eat them.
Yes. They stick a straw into their neck, and it's like a fucking Slurpee.
It's like the episode of South Park where Christopher Reeve is just sucking fucking stem cells out of babies, just cracking them like they were a milkshake. Oh, God, we're strong again.
Considering it's almost Christmas, you get a nutcracker and you just like fucking pop their heads off, and then you like suck it all up. What do you think about this? Do you
think
Aaron?
that they have like the reptilians have like a proboscis that sticks out? Like they just they crack the skull and they open the little port like it was a Capri Sun, and then they're like, and then the straw sticks out and they're like, respect the pouch, and then they just suck all the shit out.
Aaron, did you ever listen to our reptilian episode?
I can't remember after listening.
Did you know that the male reptilians, their dick can come off and it becomes like a sword, and then they fight the female reptilians who have vaginas like teeth. They have, like,
Did
teeth
you know?
vaginas.
Now the question is,
my eyes, they come alive.
Can they reattach said dick sword penis thing?
Yeah, because supposedly, according to this one lady that is a spiritual medium or something, she said that they engage in sex wars. And then you go back and listen to the reptilian episode, but essentially the women needed to protect themselves from being raped, so they developed teeth vagina, like that horror movie that Aaron jerks off to every time he watches it.
Do you think the reptilians episode is the reason that we can't get David Icke on the show?
Probably, because I had somebody told Billy and Anton about this. He's like, lose the fucking dingleberries, blah blah, because somebody was essentially saying that
somebody was mad that Billy
correct.
and I were bringing critical thinking to the episode.
They were mad.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, it does not work.
That doesn't work at all.
So if we take a look at, the eastern Antarctica, we come across strange oval structures protruding from the ground, measuring around 400 feet across. This oddly shaped structure has been called out as ice cold evidence that there is buried structures underneath Antarctica.
It's as cold as ice.
I have the structure somewhere. Where is this fucking thing? Ooh, a hole. A nice hole.
You know how there's the face on Mars? That's just the asshole on Earth.
Could be. See, look at that. What the fuck is that thing? Okay, huh? Is that an Oreo cookie? What is that?
No, dude, that's the ship from The Thing.
That's so weird, man. Why is that there? Why are these things there? What is happening? Okay,
it actually it actually just looks like a picture that somebody took where their shoe is in the frame.
That does look like that. Yes, you're right.
Like it looks like there's a soul, like it's like an Inuit boot or something. It's like, oh shit, I'm in frame, and people are like, "What is this mysterious object?"
Is that weird, man? I don't know.
Sign up for our newsletter and get all the facts straight to your phone.
Throughout the year, satellite images of Antarctica revealing a significant number of strange structures beneath the ice. Some authors and UFO hunters believe these oddly shaped formations are just some of the many pieces of evidence that point to the fact that Antarctica was once home to an advanced ancient civilization, which we will get to next. And supposedly, right, this idea, we'll get into it, but the people from Mars these beings from Mars came down and crash landed on the ice and set up shop in Antarctica, and the same people that ended up becoming the Illuminati and controlling our planet.
So you guys want to see just like an image of some of the super fucking weird creatures that live in Antarctica?
Yeah. So did you know, and I've said this before, right? That you know what? Did you know anything about Mars? The fuck is that thing?
I know that it's.
Why does it look like a squid version of Falcor?
The animal from Never
Ending Story, and the story definitely ended because I remember being in the movie theaters for like maybe an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
So then we got stuff like
what the fuck, man? Those blobfish
mm-hmm.
are strange looking, and everyone knows what we're talking about. They're like grumpy old men and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, they all look like Walter Matthau.
Strange.
And then you've got like really weird, like jagged sea sponges, odd fish.
We should start a band name called Odd Fish.
Odd Fish, hell yeah.
Strange. There's a lot of strange things when it comes to Antarctica. So let's dive into Atlantis. Do you guys believe in Atlantis? What are we thinking? Because let's get this conversation going about all the mysteries of Antarctica. And me and Anton, we did do a whole series about Atlantis, bro.
Those are still some of our most listened to episodes, aren't they?
People love that shit.
Dude, people really do. As long as you leave out the root races of man from the Atlantis shit, people love it. But when you start getting into Blavatsky territory, that's when it starts getting a little problematic. I don't know, man. I like to think that, like, I'm gonna use what Aaron said. I want Atlantis to be real. I want Atlantis to be real. I want Lemuria to be real. I want alien intervention to be real. Like, I want all that shit to be real. But do I believe it? The more I research, the less I believe it.
You guys, the older you get, man, the more disheveled and the more you just become these crippled old men that don't believe in the truth because you're desensitized and you become worn down into society and jaded. And then one day you're like 80 and be like, I'm just gonna die and go on the fucking ground and that's it. And it's just like, well, you're nice. Like my grandma, I'm like, hey grandma, I miss you. And she's like, you don't fucking miss me. And I'm like, thanks, grandma. That's nice.
That took a turn I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Every time I see
grandma,
my grandma,
I miss you.
Like,
I live next door and I haven't seen you in 15 years. Stop calling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to believe all these things, but and like I said, really reluctantly, I think what a lot of these conspiracies and theories, when you really dive deep into a lot of them, there's a lot of like stuff there that's like supposedly factual that's just completely unfounded, and there's like no trace back in any way.
Well, what would you think would happen, right? If the people in power, when we found out about this shit, they have to cover it up. The thing is, with the internet, right? Yeah, you can bury some stuff away, but it ends up popping up. And there is people like Corey Good who got age regressed back to a child after he went aboard these ships onto the moon and saw the evidence in Antarctica of civilizations. What do you say to that? He seems very genuine the way he speaks, very nonchalantly, that he knows the truth about Antarctica.
You know what I have to say to that? Who do you guys think will be the first band to play on the moon?
Metallica.
Yeah, they have to be.
You think they're doing that Bezos spaceship thing where you can go like the space tourism? They're just going to get up to a certain point and they're going to do like an acoustic set that's going to just fucking suck.
Well, we're going to talk about that later, about the whole idea that you can pay, if you are rich enough, to supposedly get slingshotted around the moon in some sort of UFO-style ship. And
you wouldn't even need a UFO-style ship like a saucer. Getting slingshotted around the moon is what they did with fucking satellites back in the day.
Yeah, it's the same premise, but it's like a nice, comfortable stuff. You have martini glasses, like you can sip on martinis. Just they got children just waiting in the shadows if you need a quick little adrenochrome kick.
Do you know what's going to happen when they start doing those tours? They're going to bring you out to Hollywood and bring you into a movie studio, and you're going to find out that it's all bullshit and the moon isn't real.
Yeah,
I-
you
yeah.
leave and there's just a gift shop and you realize you're in Universal Studios. You're like, fuck
Like I
me.
said, I'm not a believer in flat Earth. If Aaron wants to believe that racist theory, he can dive into it very deeply, because a lot of people say they can prove that the Earth is not a globe. But I choose to believe the Earth is hollow and most likely is just a simulation. And after doing so many mushrooms, it's probably not as real as we think. This reality is probably not as real as we think it is.
If it's a simulation, can't it be changed at any moment?
We are probably on Falcor's back right now, and we are nothing but little particles.
And
on
that,
his,
my liege, is how we know the Earth to be banana-shaped.
It could be banana shaped. Banana. Can you
Banana-shaped.
say banana for me, Aaron?
Banana.
Banana.
Banana?
How do I say that normally? Banana.
Banana. That's
Banana.
normal.
Banana.
Who says banana? Fuck that
That's
shit.
a
Banana.
line from Holy Grail, you
Ring,
fucking...
ring, 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 ring. Banana phone. That guy was probably a
I've
pedophile.
got my hunches. It grows in bunches. It's the best. Beats the rest. Cellular, modular, interactive, modular. God damn it, Tom. I hate you so much. You put that cancer back in my ear. Fuck you.
The
Have you guys
only
ever seen
thing.
All right, let Aaron speak.
Oh no, go ahead.
You guys remember the video? It used to be up on Newgrounds that was Banana Phone, and it was like, it was a curse. It was like It Follows with Banana Phone, though.
I have a
Remember
confession to make.
Newgrounds?
Oh, Newgrounds was so much fun.
Yeah, I have a confession to make. I played those.
Of course you did. We already know what you're going to say. You jerked off to the fucking games.
Yeah, especially the ones with the celebrities, but you 100% were not the celebrities, and you could like mix match their clothes. I was 10. Okay, leave me alone.
I swear to God, have you ever been abducted?
According to this guy, so I went to
Only
a
by his
UFO
uncle.
conference. I went to a UFO conference, and guess who was there at this conference? It was in Brantford, this smaller city, an hour away from Toronto. Travis Walton was there. I saw him. I saw him walk in, and I was like,
You know what's
"Whoa."
weird that you mentioned that? I was watching Fire in the Sky last night.
I've never seen it, and I have Travis Walton is ready to go.
Actually, it's
now.
on the schedule, isn't it? We have it on the
Yeah,
docket.
we can start getting into that stuff too. And I talked with this hypnotherapist. He tried to put me under hypnotherapy. It didn't work. Some people just can't be hypnotized. I'm not Sirhan. I'm not easily manipulated. And I was really stoned, and I was like, it just kind of relaxed me. And then I saw them the next year on the Sunday where it was kind of slow, and his son was there, and his son is supposed to be like some sort of psychic. And he told me, he said some information. There's one specific thing that he would not like. There's no way he could have known. Like, it's almost impossible. But he did tell Chelsea she has been abducted by aliens, and they helped her with a health ailment when she was a kid. And they told me that beings tried to go into my room, and I woke up before they could take me aboard the ship.
Now I have one question. How much did he charge you?
It was
the pleasure of being told
free, because it was slow, and he read my body language.
Because that's the thing I always, and maybe you're right about like the older some people get more like fucking cynical or whatever. But
Yes,
I
you
always that's always my thing. Now I really want to go to all these different people and visit them and like be able to record my experience and actually see. But then a lot of times I'm like, these motherfuckers though, I feel like have so much to gain.
It depends, because I truly believe the psychics, and we'll get into this on another episode though. Like I've said this before, that I've said this numerous times, that Chelsea's mom went to a psychic, and almost everything, she wrote it down and then put it away. Didn't look at it at all, because that's the best way to do it, because you don't want to, if you overanalyze it. My mom went to a psychic, and it's like, it told me all this shit was going to happen. But the crazy thing is, I think it was the psychic that my mom went to said that there will be an unexpected pregnancy. And it happened with me and Chelsea. So like these things that like, it was like, you could just have guessed that, but you don't fucking know. But she wrote down all of her experiences and looked on it later on, and all of it like was to a T. There are some out there that are fakes, that I do believe that there are some people that are able to tap into this stuff.
So is it possible that they just understood that you are a reckless and irresponsible person?
They didn't know me.
And that, well, I'm sure your mom was there, right?
But the thing is also, they've showed a picture when Chelsea went, they showed a picture of me, and she
just looked at you and they were like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah, no, they were like, he's got there's going to be a lot of anger issues and stuff like that. And I'm like, well,
It doesn't help that they showed the picture of you shaking your fist at a camera.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of stuff, and I tend to believe it. Whatever. You guys can be skeptical as you want, but I tend to believe in the more fantastical stuff. And I tend to believe that stuff is quite possible that people are able to tap in to things, and that not everybody, some people are scammers, but there is some people that are able to tap into this.
I would say
thought.
in certain aspects, I have experienced precognition of like, I have a dream of something, and it's always something insignificant. It never means anything, but then I will wake up one day and be like,
you've told me that.
That's today. Like shit like that has happened before. Or, you know, I have had conversations with people, and like just this is a stupid example. So like a song. It happened the other day while I was at work, where somebody, I had a song that just started playing in my head, and then I was driving around on my tow motor, and one of my coworkers was just like singing that song, and I stopped him and I was like, was that playing anywhere? Like, was that like on the radio or something on the way into work or anything like that? And they're just like, no. And then I was like, well, that's weird, because that was literally just going through my head. And it was like, like stuff like that, I think.
Aaron, have you ever had that? Because you seem to be, I'm actually quite surprised, let me say, that you were being a little more skeptical, I could say.
And I was having a conversation yesterday, actually, with some other family members, and we got into like the whole spirit boards and stuff like that. And I'm not to say I don't believe in any of this stuff, but I always, in the last couple of years, played devil's advocate. I want to believe all this stuff.
Did you tell them about that? I talked to reptilians on the Ouija board?
Yeah, and like, and there was half of them, like when I mentioned like the shadow people thing and stuff, that were like straight up like, yep, believe it. I don't even need any context or anything, believe it. And then like there was other people that were there that were like, not bullshit, unless I see it myself, it's all bullshit. I really see, and that's the I'd like to see something.
Bullshit. I don't like that. The people are like, until I see it, it's not fucking real.
And like I want to see these things. I want to experience these things. I wouldn't outright say I don't believe in it at all. I suppose nowadays, like, so many people have so many reasons for doing shit. Like you said, there's so many scams out there and different things.
I will say tons, that, yeah, for sure.
Like it's a long time ago now. It's probably maybe 20 years ago. My mom went to some kind of psychic, and it was really bizarre. He said something to her.
Was she a traveling gypsy?
I'm not really sure, but I remember at the time she came out and she was like, it was really strange because she had said to her, like, normally I won't give like any crazy bad news or anything like that. We don't really get into all that. But she was like, you need to be careful while driving, because I do see something. I don't know if it's involving you specifically, with like a serious accident. So she was like, okay, whatever. And then that Christmas Eve, she crashed into a tree and smashed her entire face in half.
Wow. That's crazy. Is your mother?
Yeah.
Is she okay?
So, yeah. But it was just like, that was the initial thought, was like, wait a second. Didn't like 6 weeks ago, didn't she tell me something about skidding a car off the road and a serious accident?
Man, I've known people that have been skeptical.
She sabotaged the car.
No.
Yeah.
No, more like a self-fulfilling prophecy type thing, where you're just a little more nervous in areas where you'd normally be a little more, confident.
Yeah, so that was something I thought of, to be honest. The whole idea of like, I don't know, like the power of suggestion or whatever. Like, I don't know if I outright
can you manifest your destiny.
Yeah, like I suppose to tie it into something else, an experience I had with hypnosis, where I wouldn't say I don't believe in hypnosis. I do. I think in the right setting. But I went to see there's a really famous Irish, I don't even know what you would call him at this point. He started off as a magician, but he spread into like all these other things. Like he studied all this. Yeah, like basically now he does all this different shit. Keith Barry is his name. And I went on stage with him a couple of years ago. And the second half of the show was like maybe about an hour long. And he brought like, say, 15 people up, just random people. And he was trying to like hypnotize everybody. And then certain people, he would tap you on the shoulder and you would leave the stage. He was apparently weeding out who could whatever. And he made us look at this set of lights that you couldn't see. when you were like in the crowd. And I remember him talking and talking and talking. Now I'm not one for getting on stage in front of like 1,500 people that I don't know in my hometown and like pretending to give birth and like doing a lot of weird shit on stage. And for some reason, I done every single thing. And I remember at the time, like when he was suggesting stuff, he was like, okay, so all the women are going to be midwives and all the men are going to have to give birth. And it's going to feel
that shit?
Yeah. And he was like, it's going to feel completely real. You're going to put your legs up and like, there's going to be a whole thing and you're going to feel all the pain.
Did you feel like you had a vagina?
But I remember at the time, as he was saying this, I was like, I'm not doing that shit. I was like, is he fucking crazy? And then I done it. And like, ever since that happened, I keep thinking about, was I actually hypnotized? Was it a case
or
of like,
or is it just suggestible?
And was it like, because part of me feels like that I was put in a position where it would have actually been more awkward to not do it and have him
I would
kind
have
of
pushed
myself
myself
not
to do it. I would have pushed myself not to do it just to see if like, hey, can you actually hypnotize me?
Because that's what I thought I was going to do.
And you didn't though, and you pretended to give birth to a fake baby, like a lot of the people in our culture today. Anyways, but
what?
There's this idea, right, that like David Icke talks about, that there's magicians and hypnotherapists or hypnotists that can do that whole idea of like, there was one particular case where, you know, a father goes up and he gets hypnotized and they bring up his daughter in front of him and they get him to look at a watch that the hypnotist is wearing, and he puts it behind the girl's back and presses it into her back, and then he reads the time and the description of what is on the watch. Yes, it could be faked, but if it is not, that is essentially to what David Icke talks about, is that this reality in this physical form that we're in is not as real as we think it is whatsoever.
I could get behind that, because there's no way that we can disprove that this isn't a simulation.
And let's talk about Atlantis, because in 1958, the historian Charles Hapgood proposed the pole shift theory. According to this hypothesis, the movements of the Earth's crust had made it possible for the largest areas of Antarctica continent to have been freed from ice about 12,000 years ago. Hapgood maintained that his theory was firmly backed up and based on the map that we just discussed, about how the map kind of looks like it's not covered in ice.
No, that map absolutely looks like it's covered in ice.
Shut the fuck up, Anton. And discovered by that Turkish fuck in 1930. This document, believed to have been created around 1513, shows what appears to be the northern coast of Antarctica as a vast ice-free territory. In the maps of ancient sea kings, Hapgood supports the idea made by Arlington Marley that the parts of the map depicted an area of Antarctica known as Queen Maud Land. Furthermore, Hapgood concluded that Antarctica was mapped when these parts were free from ice, taking that the view of Antarctica warm period, actually there was no ice, the ice age in the northern hemisphere. The maps were based on ancient maps derived from ice age origins. So, and that essentially, and I've said this to people, right, that everyone's like fucking global warming bullshit, because that's how they sell their new agenda, convince you that you need to be locked down in your homes, all that type of stuff. But it's this idea that the Earth has went in cycles many, many times. And that if we've had ice ages before, I'm quite sure that we could have some sort of global warming event. But now it's not global warming, it's climate change, because they cannot prove that global warming even exists. So suck my dick,
always
Klaus Schwab.
Understood it as, yes, there are natural cycles that the Earth goes through. These cycles are currently being not elevated, accelerated by a lot of the shit that we are putting out. And I mean, how is any
so rude
bullshit?
How is any part of that illogical? When was coal burned and gasoline burned in levels that it is now? When was the Earth this polluted by a bunch of shit that is synthetic? We're not talking about space shit. We're not talking about an asteroid hitting and dropping stuff.
But I agree with that. I agree that we could be accelerating it to an extent, but the way they're saying that we're accelerating it is complete lies, because they can prove 100% prove that the carbon emissions, especially from cars, are like nailed to nothing compared to obviously some sort of plants and stuff in China and India and the stuff that's making it like 1,000 times worse than any of the cars would do.
Obviously,
and also,
factory pollution is way worse than an individual driving a car.
We are a virus on Mother Earth, and if she has the defense mechanisms as a planet to, if she really wanted to, she could get rid of us tomorrow.
Sure, unless we are a virus that has weakened and compromised her immune system so much that she is
Mother
no longer
Gaia.
strong enough to
David
shake
Icke said that she talked to him for 5 hours about how the reality of her existence isn't as real as we think it is. Just like how Venus is actually a planet where like people and existences can live on, because we think it is one way in our reality. Another way, it's a beautiful place that people can live on.
I think, you know, if we're going to go into the weird fucking theory area, which is kind of our MO. So, all right, sure, maybe, but maybe each planet is alive and it's its own fucking thing. But what if a lot of the ones that we now consider dead are dead because humans were there prior? Or some species was there prior. And then with the panspermia theory of, okay, you send out something because it's got to go seed some other life somewhere. And then, you know, the whole cycle starts over
Have you guys
again.
heard about, because we're going to get into it a little bit, but have you heard about my the Mars theory? Have you heard about it yet?
I've heard a bunch of theories on Mars.
Mars was a planet much like ours, right?
Mm-hmm.
An Oriental race of beings. An Asian race of beings, because in my belief, right? I know you can't say Oriental, but why is there Oriental restaurants? Okay,
you can't.
Why is the restaurants called? There's a restaurant like in the next city that's called the Oriental, so I don't know why it's such a big deal. Anyways, so this idea that I believe, right, that all of our genomes and our fucking DNA and everything are just different drippets. Little like, you know, we're all genetic experiments from aliens. That's why they can't really prove why people have different skin color, other than like, you know, the sun was in a certain place or to the
they
east.
Can. That is the fucking theory, is that your skin adapts to your
aliens
climate.
Created all these different race of beings and seeded them here like they did with the animals and the birds, and that's why the Noah Ark trope is all about. That whole idea of Noah's Ark is based on that a bunch of aliens brought a bunch of different species here and seeded them here. So they could be used for nefarious purposes. But the idea that supposedly there was a race of beings on Mars that saw an asteroid come 200 years in advance, and it hit the surface of Mars, eradicating the living civilizations on the planet. So these beings knew about this and were so intelligent, they were able to, because they're Asian, they got to be smart, were able to go inside deep the crust of Mars and live there for a couple hundreds of years. And then the reptilians came and wiped them out and ate them, and some of them had to come to Earth. Isn't that a fun theory?
Uh-huh.
Do you like it?
Uh-huh.
And that's supposedly some of the people that were on Mars were also part of the Illuminati, which ended up coming to Earth, according to David Wilcock. Not me.
Is that canon?
Yes.
Okay.
James Cameron. So I know what you said. What do you think about that? Is that not crazy? It's fun.
That's crazy.
All right, Aaron, I feel like you had a thought going through everything I've said in the past.
Yeah, no, just when you were talking about climate change and emissions and stuff like that, I was just about to end that with, that sounds like a pitch for mass suicide, just everyone just kill themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's
sign up for maids. And then, yeah.
Well, there's that one group that's voluntary human extinction. That's their whole shtick.
Really?
Yeah. So they're basically just like, stop breeding. Like they want every human to just stop having kids so that we will go extinct.
Hey, Anton, that's part of the conspiracy theories to do with
the theory
the gay agenda.
Oh, God damn it.
That is. So if everyone's gay, they don't have kids.
Look,
and then
I have my own theory on that, right? And
it
involves Mother Gaia, and the reason that there are higher populations of people who identify in this way during times of overpopulation is because Mom put us here to make sure that y'all stop fucking having kids.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. That's a fact. Because if you get more people to become gay, guess what? there's less of the population. They don't have kids as
I
fast.
hate you so much.
Fun. I told you this is gonna be a fun episode.
For you.
Fun. I can't wait to get into the Nazi shit later on. But so years after, numerous researchers and authors suggest that historians, there's this theory are not only true, but in this light of information, it is possible to state that the lost continent of Atlantis lies hidden underneath the thick layers of ice. It could be quite possible. Curiously, the first historical mentions of Atlantis is found in the work of Greek philosopher Plato, who refers to the city of these sanctuary buildings. Sanctuary. Go
back to our Atlantis episode to hear more about that.
Yeah, it goes in deep. Built by maybe a hybrid species between gods and humans 9,000 years before this time.
Okay, stop right now. Pull that map back up. That's the fucking thing. That's the Glacier Sea.
Oh yeah, I see, senor. It is. We're showing map, an ancient map, the cart map. Fun stuff.
Cart means map. That's why map makers are called cartographers.
That makes sense. Because we're gonna get into some stuff near the end, but there's this idea that Atlantis maybe is either in the water or buried underneath these layers of ice, and these dates coincide with those who talk and theorize about the pole shift theory. In 1995, Graham Hancock assessed in his study fingerprints of the god that people of Atlantis had migrated from Antarctica to found the Mayan and Egyptian empires and the Aztecs. And I think Graham Hancock is not an idiot, and he seems to really know what the fuck he's talking about comparative to all these other blah, blah, blah people.
Graham Hancock's definitely got some interesting stuff. I don't know.
He was on London Real recently, and it's fucking. I'm getting through it, but it's interesting. The guy knows his shit, and that new Netflix thing that came out. It's interesting stuff, and
he's remarkably entertaining, and I will say that he's not bound by conventional archaeological bullshit. And out of all of the sciences, I would say besides obviously pharmaceutical research, I would say archaeology is probably the most gatekeepy. Where you have people that build their entire careers on being like, this is how the history is. This is what I have discovered. Yeah. And then those people get elevated to very high levels in that group of in that profession. And then whenever somebody comes and challenges it, they're like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And then that I would say absolutely you can suppress whatever information you want because you're the head of the department at your university. You're like, this is a crackpot theory. You convince 4 or 5 other people that it's a crackpot theory and they go along with you. And then that gets buried, no matter how true any of it may be.
The only thing about that I find a bit strange is when you dive into the Nazi stuff and they say that, those German U-boats had a convoy that went with Hitler, or depending on which version of the story you hear, or Hitler's ashes and Nazi treasure and shit. When you actually look into the logistics of what that would have taken for those U-boats to go under that ice pack and stuff, and now bring it forward to 2022, and like you said earlier, Tom, with the technology we have now and shit, the fact that none of this stuff has been rediscovered in any way, solidly, is the part where I'm like, I don't understand.
Why would they fucking show us anything? Why would they tell us? Why? Okay, why is it so expensive to go down there? There's all the equipment, all the fucking bullshit, blah, blah, blah. We'll get into it later, but why are people going down there? It makes no fucking sense. There is, I do believe, something fucking there that they're trying to hide. And it is, and the thing is, there is 1,000% proof that the Nazis went there with boring machines. That is a factual thing that you can trace and know that they actually did try to travel there, which we will get into. But I believe that there's stuff there. I love to believe, if I've seen weird shit in my own lifetime, right? So I do believe that there is I think that we don't even understand this reality whatsoever. I think we have no understanding of what is actually out there and what is actually on this planet. And I think there's probably still places that we've never discovered that they're claiming that we've discovered, shit like that. I don't trust anybody.
There's plenty of places that we haven't discovered that they know that we haven't discovered, and that's just public information. It's awfully cold over there for you to be getting this steamed.
Scientists have revealed the existence of weird, almost perfectly rectangular icebergs. It's fucking strange stuff, everybody. Strange stuff.
Oh,
freeze, thaw, erosion. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, okay, I'm with Aaron on this one because one of my favorite, not my favorite, actually, sorry, my least favorite disc golf course to play at gets flooded pretty commonly, and it freezes pretty heavy in the winter. And I've gone playing in the winter, and there was a perfectly rectangular chunk of ice, and I have pictures of it, but it's like, oh, that's cool. It's just natural shit that happens from erosion.
No, there is nothing natural about. There's nothing. It doesn't exist in nature. You can't fucking.
Because didn't they actually, with the pyramids in Antarctica, didn't they draw some lines between that and the Matterhorn mountain in the Alps?
I believe so, yeah.
Because that's like it's not perfect, but like that Matterhorn thing is pretty strange looking as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was like to do with the wind and that whole freeze thaw thing where the outsides would fall away and it would leave like this weird.
You add all of those things together, and then you incorporate, the phenomena that is matrixing that our brain does. And yeah, of course you can easily just be like, nope, that's what this is. And it's just
fucking boring.
Like those machines that the Nazis took. Tom, tell us more about those.
No, fuck off. Fucking boring people.
Don't get me wrong. I watched the X-Files, which is obviously a fucking like
what is that? Okay, explain to me what the fuck that looks so perfect.
That does look perfect, though. No, I'm not saying that it's not trippy, and I'm not saying that it couldn't be these things, but like, look, there's another one right off to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, man.
Dude, I know you get discouraged sometimes when we do this, Tom, but one of these times there's going to be something that none of us can explain. And you are going to be...
I'm never discouraged. I am full force believe that there are strange things out there.
You are going to be fully erect the day that Aaron and I see something and are just like, I got nothing. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Atlantis is in Antarctica. Okay?
I hope it is.
I'm not saying it's not. I don't fucking know.
They were too dumb. They didn't know what they were doing.
I think I could be just mad because I know that none of this stuff will be proven one way or the other in my lifetime.
Yeah,
you will die and it'll all come true, bro. You'll find out what's really going on. I don't know why, but these images of these perfectly square, huge. It's massive. It's a massive square structure that almost looks perfectly square, but it does really make me want to have an ice cream sandwich.
You know what? I really want to go smoke a bowl there with you guys. That's what I want to do.
I would love to do mushrooms.
I want to be that stoner that's like, yo, I know a spot, and we go to the top of that square.
Before we get into the alien part of it, let me just say that Antarctica, right? We said might be Atlantis. We're not entirely sure. It is quite possible that it could be buried underneath these thick layers of ice. And supposedly the pole shift happened, and then or there's the idea that Corey Good and good old David Wilcock present is that maybe, just maybe, it was act for some sort of nuclear war. Some sort of nuclear war happened, and it became, a nuclear winter up there. That's the idea of how the dinosaurs were eradicated, in a sense, was not some sort of meteorite coming down and destroying them. Is that the reptilians actually were like, okay, if we let this go, the dinosaurs are going to evolve to some sort of species like us. That's what the theory is, that they could have, if the meteorite did not hit the earth and destroy the dinosaurs, if they're even real, because according to flat earthers, they're not real. Dinosaurs never existed. These fossils are all fake, which some of them definitely
because flat earthers are fucking retarded Christians half the time.
Yeah, it's very true. A lot of them are Christians. But this supposedly it might have been the reptilians, and this is the idea of in Indian culture, and who is that? Not Ganesh. What's the blue one? Shiva. That Shiva like destroyed, like the I've become death, now destroyer of worlds, was actually based on aliens supposedly using nuclear weapons to eradicate some of the population. So that's the idea that the reptilians created this so they could allow the mammals to evolve, use their DNA, and then to create, like they used our simian ancestors to create human beings on Earth so that we could be a slave race and they could exhume our energy and we could be like potatoes.
What about like the biblical fucking stuff when it comes to that, where like the pillar of fire, that
There's
sounds
tons
like
of stuff.
a pillar of fire sounds like an atom bomb to me. I don't know necessarily that they would say, the mushroom cloud or whatever, because they're probably not far enough away to see the top of that or what have you.
Yeah, like Pompeii. But there's a lot of crazy theories when it comes to all this stuff, right? And then obviously you get in the idea of, like I was saying, Aaron articles about like the book of Enoch and how there is like drip fed stuff in the Bible. I do believe you read between the lines, there probably could be some truth to some of this, but then it's just like, it's based on, to me, alien technology and things that are kind of like people interpret as a completely different way than what they're actually supposed to be interpreted as.
Well, Book of Enoch was left out, wasn't it?
Yep. Scientists have revealed the existence of weird, almost perfect or rectangular icebergs, as we said. They're often huge and sometimes visible from space. The rectangular icebergs look more man-made than natural, and it's almost as they were neatly carved out of larger icebergs.
Do you think those are the Nazi apartment complexes?
That'd be awesome. Because, like, we had the idea of like igloos and they keep you warm, and because the body heat and the heat encompassed inside of the structure, scientists called them tabular icebergs. Supposedly they are natural according to fuckheads. They're naturally formed when part of the iceberg breaks off from a larger one. However, conspiracy theories do not believe this. They say that the icebergs were either made by humans or aliens. Some of them also suggest that it could be a secret government facility. Conspiracy theories hinge their argument on the fact that perfect shapes rarely exist in nature, which is true. However, scientists have pointed out that not every corner of the iceberg is usually perfect, and the debate rages on.
Well, yeah, that whole right side is jagged as fuck.
Yeah,
but I think those are the fire exits because they are government buildings and they have to be regulated to a certain standard, and there has to be safety protocols put into place. So you know what, Tom, you're right. That's a government facility.
Have you guys heard about the supposedly UFO bases and the crash landings of UFOs in Antarctica?
Are they the Nazi UFOs? Are they the Bells?
What the fuck is this? Tell me what that is. We're showing a picture of a supposedly object or some sort of thing that kind of crash landed onto the land of Antarctica, and it's easy as it's coming down. It's like you can see that it's dragged.
So by chance, is that something that has broken off of that mountain or whatever it is there and slid down?
I don't think so. That is impossible. Okay. Some conspiracy theories. Some conspiracy theories call that are called alien hunters. They claim they have discovered evidence of an alien UFO that crash landed in Antarctica. These hunters reached this conclusion after analyzing a suspicious trail, which is found on Google Earth on the continent's surface. The trail appears to be at a collapsed peak of a mountain. This suggests that the UFO hit the peak of the mountain and crash landed. However, geologists don't agree. They insist that the trail was caused by an avalanche. Boring.
Fake news.
Prove to me that avalanches are real.
Exactly.
Avalanches are just digital fucking like ripples in the Matrix.
Why, when I make a snowball nowadays, I try to light it on fire with a lighter, it turns black. What is in the sky? What is happening? Why
would I make a snowball nowadays? Does it no longer fill me with the same joy I had as a child? I ask you.
Yeah, I ask you that same question. And obviously we have, craters and weird things that they can find in Antarctica, which is an entrance maybe into Hollow Earth that we'll get towards the ending of this. But there is weird craters. This is in Antarctica.
Right.
Okay,
No,
hold on.
I get
That
it. But like,
image that's on screen right now, is that supposed to be real?
Yeah, that's real, man. That's 100% real.
That is the fakest shit I've ever seen.
You can say it's fake, but it is completely real. You can keep they exist, man. The stuff does exist. Okay, it's there. Okay, got it. Shut the fuck up. This is real. You see the little person? That is a real thing. That's a ship. That's a fucking UFO that has crash landed into the thick layers of ice in Antarctica. Prove me wrong. This is all UFOs. We're showing images of all the crash landed UFOs that supposedly exist within inside Antarctica.
I'm gonna prove you right now. Hang on.
That one kind of looks like a dartboard. That's fun.
It's all true, man.
It's all true, dude. Dude. You don't. What the fuck is that thing? Okay, what is that? Some sort of alien creature by himself alone on Antarctica?
So that image there, apparently, that there was articles. I think it was in 2020 that whole thing was discovered, and they reckon it was a 20-meter tall figure. I don't know how they done it, but they scaled it on Google Earth.
So what was that then, Aaron? What was it?
They reckon that it was there's a dude who has a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but he discovers all these like strange things on Google Earth and makes videos about them. But yeah, they scaled it up and they reckon that it was just about 20 meters tall. It is weird. I will say it is strange, but again, I can't remember the name of the phenomena or whatever, but it's that thing where if you look at something enough that your brain is like basically wired to see like patterns in like randomness.
That's known as matrixing.
So I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not. I would love.
You don't know a whole lot of anything.
I would love if it was a 20-meter tall alien.
That'd be fucking awesome. There are 2 craters along the coast of Antarctica. Both go deep below the surface into the permafrost, as if something had dug its way in. Conspiracy theorists have jumped on board and suggest that these craters are entrances to a secret government facility.
Prove that they aren't.
Yeah, prove to me that they aren't, because there is a lot of weird stuff, and we don't know. Maybe there's an entrance, because there is, and you can find it on Google Earth, and so many people do this where they find weird, like, what is this hole? Why is that hole exist? Why is there these deep caverns in places like Antarctica? And
Tom,
where do they go?
What if all the pictures that are very clearly fake are actually just a smoke screen? Okay.
You can say that they're fake all you want, but have you fucking been there?
What if these are here to simply throw you off the trail and be like, look how fake that is. It's not real. And they're like, yeah, because the real one is much more cleverly hidden because we're not fucking idiots.
There is probably building structures in Antarctica like what we're showing. They have a polar bear in the picture, but polar bears don't really hang out in Antarctica. That's fucking fake news. But yes, that there's probably structures there. There's probably tons of stuff. Also, like if it's not a UFO base or a secret government
that's the
facility.
fakest part of all those images was the fact that there was a polar bear.
Yes, you're right.
Also, everybody knows that icebergs are green. Okay.
Conspiracy theories, they've jumped on board. This could be like a secret government facility, but also maybe an alien base or a secret Nazi base that we will get into. Scott Waring, a UFO conspiracy theorist, said that the craters were formed by a UFO buried in the permafrost. He claimed that he spotted the UFO in the original image he viewed on Google Earth. However, he explained the UFO is no longer visible because Google edited the original image, and that is extremely true that they do doctor images. We can see, and you can literally find stuff on Google Map that has been whited out, and they do that obviously in NASA footage and stuff like that, which you can completely prove that, like, hey, why'd they do that?
Now, just to play devil's advocate for a second. So if they can doctor these images and whatever, is there any room for dudes doctoring images to be like, hey, look what I discovered? Like the dude who found that big, massive Bigfoot skull.
Impossible.
And then he turns around a year later and goes, yeah, I just buried that out there and I was just trying to get attention.
I think flimflammery had to have been easier when you didn't have mass communication. Like
Yeah.
when you had telegrams and mail and shit like that, like letters to go one place or another, you could go from town to town being like, "This is the skull of a giant cyclops," and it's actually just a mammoth skull. And you know, people will fucking pay you 2 bits to take a gander, and
That one's
shit adds
strange.
up. Yeah,
What is
that
that?
was very
doing there, huh?
weird.
What
are
is
they
that
doing
supposed
there?
to be?
It's supposed to be supposedly tank-like structures that are being used on the surface of Antarctica, or some sort of like UFO ships, because they're either supposed to be, we're saying they're tanks that are actually moving, that are going across, that they're doing some sort of experiments there.
Well, that
it
top
looks
right
like-
one looks like my brain's telling me tank. Like looking at
Yeah.
that thing, because like the
Mhm.
back, like you can see like the treads, you can see the turret on the top, like that looks like a
Or
snow-covered tank.
it's ancient technology that was left there from who knows when. But
What-
also the idea that it could be some stuff left behind by the Nazis.
Where did that red thing crash at? Huh? Because that has a trail behind it.
Yeah, that's
Where'd
what I'm
that
saying.
come
But
from?
all the rest are still, right? So, and it's an image, and you can see like 4 tank-like structure that seems like they're covered in snow. One seems much more buried and has like a trail line. So these could be crash UFOs, or some sort of maybe tanks that the Nazis were using that
Were
got
those the
stuck there.
boring machines? Maybe.
Maybe. Although it was only recently reported the crater was first discovered during an analysis of satellite images of Antarctica in 2006. Scientists think that the crater was formed by one of the asteroids that hit the Earth millions of years ago, Jesus, that caused the extinction of dinosaurs. However, conspiracy theories do not think so, and they suggest that the crater is part of the secret Nazi base.
Prove it
Again,
isn't.
I want there to be a secret Nazi base. I want there to be 20
There
foot tall
100% is, man.
aliens.
100%.
I want Hollow Earth to be real.
Aaron, you know the problem is that Tom won't admit to us that he's actually been to Antarctica. He's been sworn to secrecy, and he knows this shit for a fact. But
Do you know
he
what?
won't
He's
enlighten
probably
us.
he's probably a government shill.
Yeah, are
That's
you
what
a
all
fucking
this is.
asset?
This is the reason that he acts like this, because he's actually a government shill.
Yeah, very correct. Also, I have a fetish for penguins, so I had to go there to experience it firsthand.
Is that what started COVID?
Yeah, I fucked a penguin.
God damn it, you son of a bitch.
The way they tickle my asshole with their sharp little teeth is really enjoyable. You want
I
to get
can't
into
say that
flat
I've
Earth
ever had
stuff?
a
Who
toothy
wants to
rim
go
job.
into fantasy land? You want to go into fantasy land now? Huh? Do you?
So we're going to talk facts now, are we?
Yes. There's a weird conspiracy theory that the whole Antarctica and then the South Pole do not exist. This belief is most common with flat earthers who claim that our planet is flat. And you know what? You are nothing but a bunch of globetards. Okay, get it? You guys believe in some sort of fantasy world of this globe that spins, and how does the water stay on the globe? Nobody knows.
You guys want to know the real truth of all of this? You know who's actually at fault for all of these theories? Santa.
Yeah,
Mm.
which we will get into later on. I was gonna style my hair so look at that fucking guy from fucking
Windswept.
Oh, dude, I gotta send you a picture. Yeah, I'll send you a picture later.
Okay. I don't want it to be Hitler's one testicle. Okay, I've seen that too many times in my life.
What if it's Hitler's one testicle in my mouth?
Are you housing him in your basement?
Oh no! I just acquired said testicle, and I will just periodically chew it like it's gum.
Interesting. Flat earthers believe that the North Pole is the center of the world while the South Pole surrounds the Earth. According to flat retards, Antarctica is actually a thick wall about 30 to 600 meters, 100 feet to 200 feet. And I know there's people that truly believe that the Earth is flat, and that's cool. I got nothing against you. But if you're going to call us globetards, I'm going to call you a retard. So it's fine. And the thing is that it most likely is hollow, because the people are like, well, there's maps. There's like religious maps that show that the Earth is flat. There's also maps that show that the Earth is fucking hollow. There's also the idea that, and we'll get into it near the end of this, but like, you know, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe it is flat. Maybe that's why they want us to go to Antarctica, but I won't know till I'm dead. And do I truly care? Not really. So
So what you're saying is the Earth is flat.
most likely. The
Yeah,
wall
I
stops
heard the ugly
everything
flat.
from falling over the edge of the earth because we're going to go back 500 years. Flat earthers say we cannot confirm the existence of the wall because the world's governments and the United Nations have a strict no-fly zone, no-sail zone around Antarctica. Conspiracy theories believe that the British Captain Cook is one of the few humans ever to see the wall. Apart from the government agency, supposedly Captain Cook reported seeing the huge wall during the 3 voyages he made to Antarctica. And then they set up a stage so he could do stand-up comedy. The wall covered the entire coastline and he could not land anywhere because it was too tall to climb. What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts. I think Dane Cook actually went to the edge of the earth.
I think that's where he discovered the superfi. It was
So
written in
stupid.
hieroglyphics on the side of the ice wall. It's like, what if you just made a double middle finger to show how edgy you are? He's like, oh, I have learned the secret.
Truly, Aaron, what do you think?
I don't know, because the more you dive into, I didn't even realize, like, obviously I know there's a lot of conspiracies around this place, but I didn't realize how many there is and how deep the lore seems to be on all of them.
Oh, it goes extremely deep. We're just covering the surface level, literally, of this shit. So.
And I can definitely see an argument, like, if, like you said earlier, Anton, I think if we didn't have, mass communication and like something like the internet, I could see how if you were just drip fed one of these stories, how that could become like your entire belief system and be like, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, because you go in this deep rabbit hole where a lot of Christians really do believe this.
Well, and then, I mean, there was that whole phenomenon of like Christian fiction that people would write, and you take that and people that read that along with going to church and only know a portion of actual biblical texts and stuff, they're going to create their own headcanon. And a lot of the times they're just going to say, when they're just talking, you're free flow talking to another friend, you're not going to take the time to separate that. And that's going to go out. And then, maybe then just people start believing in flat earth again, is all I'm saying.
I don't know, man. It's quite strange to me. I tend to not like it. I said this on the fucking flat earth episode me and Billy did. Yeah, it's a bias I have because to me it would throw out all my other beliefs out the window. And I can admit that I'm a little biased because I want I secretly want the reptilians to come and rape me.
Dude, I think everyone on this show can say that they want to see like grays or like at least some sort of, I'm not even going to say benevolent. I would settle for just a fleet of spaceships coming and just like Hitchhiker's Guide Vogon style wiping the planet out and being like, fucking knew it. Called it.
Yeah.
Like that's cool.
And I had a similar conversation yesterday when I said about about you telling me, Tom, about the shadow people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe what I saw. I know what the fuck I saw. So
we were getting into this kind of. It ended up, as it always does. When you have a group of people together, you have like nearly a debate where half the room is like, "No bullshit, I don't," and then the other half is like, "Well, I believe it so much so that I don't want to have anything to do with it." I was joking about I'm going to bring all like fucking boards and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and the scrying mirror or whatever it is. And
I would love to actually legitimately try the scrying mirror. So
everyone was freaking out, but I will say, and I guess for better or for worse, I would like to use those things and actually be able to say, at least from my point of view, shit, something really did.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you earlier. I was like, why don't you, if you legitimately want to find out if this stuff does exist, or that our reality is as flimsy as I think it is, try to go summon a fucking demon, man.
You don't even
buy
need
a
to do
Ouija
that.
board. I'll send you a Ouija board.
Just go ghost hunting.
Yeah, go try to discover. Just honestly, try doing some sort of occultist demon summoning practice, and keep doing it until you see a demon. Try it out.
So here's the problem with that, Tom, is that you don't physically manifest something. You visually manifest something.
I don't know, man. I had a fucking shadow person try to rape me, so.
See, then my fear is though, if I do that and then I can't back out of it and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, and then you're cursed forever, bro. And you're cursed, okay?
How did we get here? Oh God, yeah, the firmament and
There I am.
So
That's
all
me.
that shit is like straight up Christian lore. Like when they describe
100%.
the earth in the Bible, it's the dome, the firmament, blah blah blah, all that shit. I don't think they actually use the word dome, but
And what do
it's-
we know about the Bible? It's completely true. It has to be, man. There has to be a man named Jesus that wasn't based on Mithra or Horus or some sort of other deity.
combination
and
of all of them?
He definitely wasn't
No,
a pedophile.
no.
Okay. And no, it's weird. When we were talking about earlier about John Kerry going to Antarctica, why did he go on election day? Why? Why did he go to Antarctica on election day? Why? Huh? Why?
What
Still-
year was
still-
it? Was it when he was running against W?
I think so.
Because that
I
looks like
think I saw-
younger John Kerry. Like, I feel like John Kerry's old as fuck now. That looks like, 2000 and whatever.
He ran
John
out of
Kerry.
adrenochrome. So, in 2012, there was a claim that a UFO was flying over this station in Antarctica. A video was shot on August 12th, 2012. August 10th, actually, 2012, showing an object flying above the research center, because they had a research center at the newer Mare station, the third. It's the third station. I think they have like weird little bases there, like it's structured, like I was showing it earlier, where they sleep in these weird little, I don't know why, but these weird little structures. It's strange. That's for sure.
What is the function of that? Is that
See,
like
there it is. There's one of them. There's one of the stations. So why do they have that there, huh? Nothing's there, huh?
well, it's
Fake.
not that
Photoshop.
nothing's there. It's that's a Hollywood set, and Antarctica's not real because the Earth is flat.
Exactly. However, it turns out
That's
that it
in
was.
Soundstage 1, and in Soundstage 2, it's the moon.
Yeah.
Can you guys guess what they disprove this UFO as? Think about it. What did they say that it was?
Show me again.
I don't have the image up. I can pull it up if I need to.
I'd say it was. They're gonna sit there and tell us what they're gonna say, and it's totally fake news. They're gonna say that it's a KFC, but it's not a KFC. It was a Popeyes.
I'm not talking about the fucking goddamn fucking research center. I'm talking about the UFO. What did they claim the UFO was?
A KFC.
Harken back to
An avalanche.
Roswell.
They said it was a weather balloon. Really?
However,
They
it
used
turned
that
out
one
to
again?
be a weather balloon.
Yeah, bullshit.
Exactly.
Are you retarded?
Weather
Instruments
balloons aren't
from
real.
a weather balloon.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that it was a fucking weather balloon. Like it's like,
I
well,
believe that. Definitely.
of course you do. This was this was evidence from the video because the object was shaped of a balloon. Beside, researchers of Antarctica are known to fly weather balloons directly above their research stations. Lastly, what sort of alien leaves his saucer flying directly above a research station?
Weather isn't real.
Is there a theory out there that proves that everything is a conspiracy and not in Israel?
Nothing is real, man.
No, but I mean that like the fact that nothing is real is actually not real either.
That
What do
sounds
you
like a
say?
Zen riddle.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I drive myself insane with these things, and that's why like I have to kind of teeter on the wall of like, how far am I going to go into this now? Am I going to be like psychotic?
Yeah. I will dive into a little bit of the Nazis that hit a UFO in Antarctica, and then Aaron, you're gonna take it over. You got me?
Mm-hmm. You may
Another-
not like some of my theories.
Great. Another conspiracy theory involving the Nazis. Maybe it discusses that they hit a UFO somewhere in Antarctica. The Nazi UFOs have been linked to the pyramids that we've talked about earlier. Believers insist that the Nazis operated a secret UFO base in Antarctica during World War II. And the U.S. and the British forces repeatedly tried destroying the base during the war, but were not successful at all. They had the base up there, and it was a Nazi base, and they only managed to demolish it after dropping an atom bomb on the base in 1958. Conspiracy theories claim that the Nazis destroyed a U.S. airplane during this operation. This idea regarded as false because the Nazis never had a base or any military interest in Antarctica, which is complete fucking lies. So they actually did go to Antarctica, and they went with one ship finding new whaling grounds. They did not have enough supplies, supposedly, to build the underground bases, which is also disinformation because they don't want people to know that that's where the Nazis went to find Hollow Earth. So, fuck you. The so-called operation to expel the Nazis from the secret UFO base was actually a military training to simulate the invasion of the icy cold Soviet Union. This involved 13 ships, 33 airplanes, and 4,700 soldiers. The Nazis did not shoot an airplane down during this training mission either, as there was no Nazis, which is also disinformation because we all know that they went there with the Boeing machines, and then Admiral Byrd, which will come up when we talk about Operation Highjump, which will lead us into our very deep dive into the Hollow Earth, because this is essentially just, like I said, you're just licking the dog is licking the peanut butter off your cock right now.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. It is just the tip of the iceberg. Or it's like I said, peanut butter, dog licking, and it's just teasing you a bit. You're just teasing the dog a little bit, right? You're not giving him the full mouthful. You're just giving him a little bit of the licks.
Interesting.
I'm broken. That's
so
the weirdest whale I've ever seen.
All right, you ready, Aaron? Let's dive into the Nazis. You have a lot of stuff because there's a lot of Nazi stuff that I wanted to get.
Do you wholeheartedly believe in that whole Nazi thing?
Yeah, I will 100%. I will say that I do really believe that Hitler had a deep interest with Antarctica and the Hollow Earth because he was super into occult practices and Madame Blavatsky and a lot of weird stuff. And as far as the research I've done for fucking 14 years, I do believe that they went to Antarctica and were looking for something specific.
Wow, is that an actual photograph they took?
No, this is fuck off.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Wow.
God. That's actually the best photo I've ever seen.
We're showing an image of penguins all marching in Nazi uniforms, and one penguin does have the swastika flag.
The thing that's going to get your Twitch page banned.
No, I saw someone legitimately watching. He was watching Alex Jones interview Kanye West on Twitch live.
Oh,
and
no
the guy
shit.
was just
Wow.
reacting to it, and they kept it up, and it had like 15,000 people were watching it.
Yeah, that's
So yeah. All right, let's dive into the Nazis there, fuckface.
So I'm just gonna ruin that whole.
Look at those shorts.
Just leave that on screen.
Look at those fucking shorts. I love that you blacked out the armband. Thank you.
I did. We are showing a picture of Hitler and his Lederhausen. Is that how you say it? Lederhausen?
Oh my God, he looks like such an angry little boy. I am Hitler. I'm angry dumpling. Stop it. Stop making fun of my saggy knees. This is not. I have a weird puffy front butt. Go away.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't really think he should have went with the high-waisted shorts when he's
Big
got one
H
of those
rocking
fucking frumps or whatever it is.
He's rocking a camel toe and a frump.
So I think the most feasible theory on this whole Nazi thing is the following. So in preparation for war, Hitler wanted to find substitutes for fat-based products, mainly margarine.
Margarine?
He didn't have enough of that little butter roll up front to spare.
Yeah, all right. This was in case when they went to war that all their imported resources were cut off from other countries. The plan began in 1936 to complete a 4-year plan to boost German military and domestic economy to be ready for war by 1940. A man by the name of Hermann Göring was put in charge, and he developed a German fat plan to enable Germany to improve the efficiency of its domestic consumption of butter, milk, cream, lard, cheese, bacon, margarine, salad, and many more oil and fat-based products. At the time, whale oil was one of the main ingredients for many of these products, and Germany consumed a lot of margarine also. Again, that's the boring version, but like it's probably the most realistic.
Occam's razor, yeah.
I do not want to believe that. I want to believe that that, you know, they went to fucking, because I can see the other side of it, because when you look at this online, anybody who believes that there was some weird like reptilian Nazi UFO thing going on in Antarctica is going to say,
There was.
oh, of course they would use some bullshit excuse like they went to Antarctica for fucking margarine and butter.
Yeah.
Because it does
Who's
sound a
ever
bit
heard
ridiculous.
of whale blubber? That's not real.
Yeah, like it does sound a little bit ridiculous.
No, this is the exciting thing that lives canon in my head, is that like, yeah, there's giant space battles by the Nazis and everybody on there. I mean, you could, if you're going deeper into the lore and the canon of that, you could just be like, yeah, they went there to harvest the Vril because that's where Atlantis was. And
When we
Atlantis had
cover
Vril
Hollow
energy and
Earth,
shit.
I want to
So-
go into it in the point of view that it is completely true. We're gonna go into it like full-fledged, no skepticization.
Skepticism.
Not allowed to be skeptical.
Yeah, cringy ass.
Is that a
Not
fucking? Is
allowed,
that a
you're
word? Is
censoring?
skeptical a word?
He's censoring
Oh,
us.
God.
Yes.
Oh God, no.
No,
I'm
no,
having
no,
flashes of
no
Halloween special.
disinformation agents in my podcast.
Tom wants it his way.
So
All right, you gonna get back to?
I got
Yeah.
bad news for you, buddy. I've been Illuminati this whole time.
This bowl is clogged.
That's our show in a nutshell.
This bowl is clogged. Jesus, I was like, I'm gonna get really high for the Nazi shit.
Yo, are
Good idea.
you a glass screen user or no?
No. I bought screens. I don't use them normally. I like to suck. I like to suck it through.
So how often would you say you clean your bong?
I actually clean it quite a bit though. I'm not someone who does not clean their bong. I like to clean it all the time because I knew somebody that didn't clean their bong out and they got a lung
Like
infection.
3 days. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. It needs an alcohol bath regularly. It has your fucking saliva and shit all over it constantly.
I gotta call Chelsea, be like, give me bong cleaner while you're out.
Just tell her to pick you up a bottle of rubbing alcohol like a normal human being.
what
All
you
right,
should
so-
do is do an experiment where both you guys don't wash them at all or do anything with them and see how long it is before it turns toxic, and then what happens to
I
you.
won't make it. I reach
Science.
a point where if I taste it and it tastes bad, I'm like, this is getting cleaned immediately.
Science, it's
Aaron-
for science, bro.
Aaron, you do not believe that there is a possibility that the Nazis do have an entrance into Hollow Earth? Did you not read my Bibliotheca Palladians fucking
The
shit?
Hollow Earth thing, I don't know, but I do. There's definitely a huge part of me that still thinks that there was more to the whole Nazi thing in Antarctica. Like there's stories that while they were exploring and mapping the area, they uncovered a multitude of underground caves and rivers. One of the caves was particularly large and was turned into a city that would become home for both the Nazis and more powerful groups like the Illuminati. Along the way, they either came across alien technology or made contact with the aliens. The Germans learned to use this technology and were able to build a number of weapons. The fact that Germany signed the Antarctic Treaty led many to believe that they signed this to deter other nations from visiting the area and stumbling upon their base. Additionally, some people claim that Hitler himself was there. The evidence for this is based on the claim that a German ship arrived at an Argentinian base located in Antarctica after the war ended. Another popular theory is that Hitler escaped Argentina and then was then picked up by a German ship and brought to Antarctica to live in a secret bunker. Again, I don't want to believe the story that his ashes were brought there with treasure. I think that's just boring to me. I want to believe that they were all there in some like giant underground city.
How would his ashes have gone there if they had, like, if Russia still has his skull?
I can't remember how they
that's
tried
not
to
fucking
explain that
true.
away.
That's not fucking true. They literally tested this matter of the skull with the technology that we have.
Yeah, I did hear that they went
It was
and
a
they finally.
female under the age of 40, not a male over the age of 50. Or whatever.
I did hear that, but I've also wondered, in the time that has passed, is it possible that got swapped out? Somebody
That
stole
was
the
not
skull.
Hitler. I can 1,000% say
look,
that is like that was a lie.
I would say the probability of Hitler escaping is way higher than a lot of the other shit that we've talked about. I will admit to that.
Look at the fact that Jimmy Savile could pay just money to cover up the stuff
I
he was
don't
doing.
even need you to say Jimmy Savile. I will fucking direct you directly to the Angel of Death.
Yeah. Joseph Mengele, and how
Yeah.
he escaped for how long he did. So
He
why would you
died
think the
of
most prominent person would have got out with his one
he
testicle
died
and his
of natural
micropenis?
causes. Like,
And he could
and
have
that's
been
directly
the
from money.
version.
Where he got heart attacked by Mossad or whatever.
Yeah, but the most logical version too is that like Hitler just went to Argentina and just
I
hung
hope
out
that
there
he got heart attacked
and had a kid and was like lived a normal life. So for some reason there's a bloodline out there.
And had one testicle and no dick because he pulled it off and used it as a sword in his sex battle.
Yes. Is that exciting?
You can reattach it though.
When we talked about that, I was like, when we did the reptilian
back.
episode, I don't know if that is true whatsoever. I do believe that there's dark forces and entities. That's just my belief. Whatever. I've seen crazy shit that I can't explain, but I got that information because I thought it was funny, and I was like, "This is fucked." I was like, "Is this any true?"
I hope so.
Whatever that woman, whatever drugs she took, I want them because to write that sort of stuff is that's fun. That's a really fun story. It's almost as fun as Channing Tatum wearing fucking rocket boots and being an elf. I love that movie. Jupiter Ascending. So do we like? There's much more. Let's
see. So in 2005, there was a paper released by a man called James Roberts, and it was titled "Britain's Secret War in Antarctica."
I'm so high right now.
He had cited the alleged last survivor of a British SAS raid on the base. Yep. It tells us that there was a vast underground cavern that was warmed geothermally.
I'm showing
a huge cavern where underground lakes, the Nazis had constructed a huge base that even consisted of docks for U-boats. There was also hangars for strange planes. The power the Nazis were utilizing was by volcanic activity, which gave them heat for steam and also helped produce electricity. They were also overwhelmed by the number of personnel that were in these bases, and it appeared they had been there for an extremely long time. There's also theories about a line of volcanic weakness that was associated with deep subsea trenches that would make an excellent deep sea route for U-boats to enter Antarctica.
100% true. That is 100% correct. Yes.
Done. We need to get you what's it, like the fucking judge's gavel or whatever?
Yo, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna go buy that and be like, conspiracy true. It's like every fucking episode.
It's Judge Tom. We're just sitting over here being like, no, but blah blah blah. And you're like, bam, I'm throwing that out.
So in the book, Hitler is alive. In the book Hitler is Alive, it was suggested that 2 submarines had brought a convoy containing Hitler to Antarctica, which would explain why it took the 2 submarines.
I know who owns that book. Every single flat earther has that copy on their bookshelf. And they're like, he was a good guy. Loved him.
I heard he was a good dude.
From Kanye West. All right, keep going, carry on.
This would explain why the 2 submarines took so long to reach Mar del Plata in Argentina. When the U-530 arrived in port in Argentina, the captain had disposed of all the ship's papers, and rumors about fake ship logs and crew names being faked were also rife at the time. Many of the supposed facts we know about these events are based on interviews and interrogations that were carried out due to the lack of actual factual papers or any sort of ship logs. Assuming the submarine had steamed for 6 hours on the surface at night and 18 hours submerged in daytime, then it would have taken 57 days to cover the 8,500 kilometers between New York and 20 degrees south. The final 3,500 kilometers would have taken around 8 days, making the total voyage around 65 days. This seems to be 99% correct, as is predicted. The real time would have been around 61 days. This rules out any stop-off to drop off either Hitler and his comrades or any treasure in Antarctica or anywhere else for that matter. But there is also stories of submarines with way too many crew members boarding, and they were said to have been packed with large amounts of cigarettes also. Does it lead to the assumption that maybe they were dropping long-term supplies to a secret base in Antarctica? Was Hitler and his seniors already there? Was this whole story about a convoy, was it a diversion from the actual plan that they had used to escape previously?
And you know one
couldn't
thing,
you make like if all of
Germans
that is
love
legit,
tobacco.
Couldn't you make a substation somewhere? Like you send something out that's midway, and then you can like stop and then resupply, refuel, or anything that you need. Because like what I was wondering is how long can a submarine go without refueling?
Yeah, I've never been in one. It would be kind of fun.
So apparently this was the issue that a lot of people had. So at the time that all this supposedly took place, there would have been another issue for this story. Is it feasible that the U-boats could deal with the packed ice at this time of year? One of the huge issues would have been the access to fresh air. Without an independent air producing capacity, diesel submarines are inappropriate for under ice operations. The snorkel of these would have been useless. To secure fresh air, the boats would have had to force its way through at least 2 meters of pack ice every 2 days, due to the fact that they didn't have a CO2 scrubber to clean their air.
Do we just fucking forget that they made UFOs? Did we just forget about that? Did we forget that these Nazis were creating some sort of flying objects? Is that not real? I thought it was.
Yeah, but what do we know about flying objects? They could very well be unmanned. Like they might have just had the earliest drone technology, so that wouldn't be a problem. But the submarines, on the other hand, if they're transporting people, then we have a problem.
There is also actually, now that you mentioned that, there's also a theory. So the association between UFOs, Nazis, and Antarctica was supposedly made by M.X. Barton, who suggested the Germans were assembling disc-shaped craft in underground factories in South America, South Africa, and underneath Antarctica.
But did you guys not know that Hitler had a treaty with the gray aliens?
That's fucking weird looking. Why does his face look like that?
It's because it's edited from this original photo that somebody else probably definitely doctored. Fucking for all the audio listeners, we show a picture of Hitler making out with a gray alien. Hopefully Twitch, this is not about promoting this man in any way, just so you're aware.
Just flash it 6 more times, I'm sure they'll get the hint.
Yeah, like that one time when we talked about Nazis where it also got dangerous. I'm like, how much can I show if we're just talking about history or theory, and we're not saying that they're good guys by any means at all. That's not what I'm saying. This is the original.
Is that not
photo.
what you were saying before we started? You were saying he's a pretty cool guy and you kind of agree with all his ideals and everything.
No.
It's kind of weird you're backtracking on that.
Yeah. I'm definitely, and I also believe that the Earth is flat and that
well, that is true. I'm glad you believe that.
But yeah, there's this idea. I do believe that is possible. It would be a lot of fun if that was true by any means. Not fun in a good way, like haha, like fun in a crazy way, like holy fuck. If somehow they did have a treaty with these gray aliens that for some reason have been in all of our ancient culture and drip fed to us within movies and all the cave drawings and all the things that look fairly similar from around the world that nobody seems to be able to explain. Like the fact that I'm wearing my hat like this, and there's a lot of people in ancient cultures that have round, like shaped heads, almost like you think the back of the predator or alien, but not as big, not predator.
Something envisioned Dan
heads.
Aykroyd cone heads.
Exactly. Because cone heads were supposedly, he knew about these race of beings that's like the crystal skull beings that had these shaped, and that's why the Pope wears a fucking hat like he does, because guess what? He's trying to hide his fucking bulbous long head, because supposedly in a lot of different cultures, especially religious ones, they wear that fish-shaped hat because they are worshiping the fish creatures that supposedly look like they have elongated skulls.
Didn't Dan Aykroyd believe that so much that he actually created Crystal Skull vodka?
Yeah, and I had it somewhere. It's downstairs. I had it in my background earlier. I have a fresh Crystal Skull vodka, and that's why he created it. Yeah, I have actually. Is that weed shit in there?
Yeah.
That weed liquor? That sounds dangerous as fuck.
So now what about the fact that there's been well over 1,000 different scientists who have visited the area? Several bases have since been established since the 1950s. The whole area is mapped by satellite, and considerable air traffic has crisscrossed that area since, and none of this has led to the reporting of even the slightest evidence of a Nazi base.
Fake news. They're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. They're lying to you. If what fucking science can't lie? Huh?
No.
The whole reason why we do science is because you're allowed to question science. The idea that you can't question science doesn't mean it is not science by definition.
No, you can question science. You just have to have some shit to back it up.
Science is
you
fake.
are like some sort of poisonous thing inside of a vaccine.
And 2 hours and 24 minutes.
My window's open and people probably hear me screaming.
People are probably, your neighbors are just like, shut the fuck up. That was last year.
Guys, you haven't got a welfare check.
Right.
I just had to close it because I was like, I heard the dog barking. And I was like, someone probably hears me. They hear this guy yelling about Hitler and Nazis and fucking UFOs. And
You're gonna make some weird friends. They're just gonna come over
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, man, what's up? You're really cool." Like,
I see a
okay.
Confederate flag on your chest. It's like,
Yeah.
don't worry about that.
You have the armband tattooed on. I don't want you in my house. Go away.
I love Billy's joke about the Nazis, but the heritage is fucking not hate shit. So funny. Okay, carry on, Aaron.
That got our most fun review ever.
Yes.
In the 1947 book titled Hitler is Alive, there are some facts that are indeed for sure. The Germans did intend to build a base. There were, in fact, secret British bases during World War II. Operation Highjump was primarily a military-based exercise and was at first classified and hidden from the public.
Bullshit. I don't.
three-
Admiral Byrd knows what happened. He talks about it.
That's what Admiral Byrd said happened. Except it's you're not all the spaceships and shit, but they denied that it was a military exercise for the longest time. But anyone that like looks at military tactics was like, you took down a fighting force.
Anybody that
Didn't
knew
bring-
anything knew that they were trying to get to fucking Hollow Earth to find the big H and take him down because he was starting to develop some sort of animatronic penguins that could erase and eradicate the human race.
No, he
Similar
unlocked the
to- that's where
technology of the
Tim-
Shuggoths.
That's where Tim Burton got the idea for that scene in Batman Returns.
Yeah. It's a fucking Nazi reptilian experiment.
Hitler
And-
driving across the shelf in a giant armored yellow rubber duck.
Yes.
And for
That's
some reason,
awesome.
Ava Brown in a stitched up cat suit.
Can somebody fucking make that a thing, please? If someone listens to the show, even if it's like 5 years from now, if you come back and you hear this, I want someone to create that image, please. Hitler in a fucking rubber ducky massive car with some sort of penguin mutated creature driving on Antarctica. And what did Anton say? Oh, and then Ava Braun is in a Catwoman suit.
So, Tom, here's a question I have here, right?
Okay. I knew this was going to be fun.
Obviously, you believe in all this wholeheartedly. So,
To an extent,
so
if you hear how I talk about it, I joke about a lot of things and I over exaggerate things to an extent, but I do believe that some sort of these beings, like I'm wearing my hat, all this stuff that I'm saying, there's portions of it that I do think is possible.
So from like obviously without getting too deep into every single like there's a lot of
Conspiracy
time
that I know of.
a lot of time has passed since then, but
Yeah.
I suppose from the point of like what we do know about the Nazis being in Antarctica to now, like in your mind, what's the status of it now? Has somebody else taken over what went on there and they're protecting it? Is it still the Germans that are?
So we'll get into it near the end of this of what supposedly is happening now. But supposedly there's beings that maybe have came in, and this is not me saying this. This is just a bunch of fucking babble that I read, and who knows if it's. And I think anything is possible. That's where I come from. Is that cave? I've seen weird shit in my life. I've always said this, or weird things that I cannot explain. There's other stuff out there, I'm sure, because I know what it felt like to have these shadow people feel like they were sucking out my soul. And guess what? I know you may think I'm crazy, but that shit happened and it was fucking scary as fuck. I would rather go back to jail for a day or two than ever experience that again. So I have all these beliefs of what could be possible. But supposedly, right, Hitler went down there for a bit and he hung out with Tom Green as a cult leader, and then they just joking. But it is possible that the karmatic wheel is shifting, and that the whole idea that alien intervention hasn't happened is because we are still evolving. And if you kind of get in the way of that, then it's against all these treaties that aliens maybe have signed. But then there's the idea that the reptilians and evil beings are, fucking with us and using us for some sort of energy source and kind of exhuming our energy. And then the Palladians are like, well, we can't have that. And then they look at each other all sexily with their blue eyes and blonde hair and they start making out. And then who knows what happens next.
Okay. What about you, Anton? Like where do you stand with that whole Nazi base German thing?
I think it's possible.
I want it to be real. Actually, I take that back. I can't necessarily say that I want it to be real because fuck Nazis.
No,
I know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
I like the adventure story, and I think with any other antagonist, like if you made it Cobra from G.I. Joe, I would be way more on board.
Why
with
would
that.
they not make the new
I
Indiana
don't even
Jones movie
like
about this?
I don't even
That would've
like
been
G.I.
awesome.
Joe. I get using historical villains as figures of modern folklore and shit. But do I want to think that there are there's some Hollow Earth base entrance? Yes. I don't want to think that it's controlled by Germans or Nazis actually.
You got to
but
think that's not, yeah, that's what
I
I think. It's like,
I want it to be true because I want there to be like, okay, we just explored a good chunk of this and it was all classified, and now we're gonna send drones with cameras through and we're gonna show you what we found.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
that sinkhole that opened up in China, that there was that prehistoric forest and it was somehow still alive. I don't know, was that ever
that shit's
disproven?
crazy.
Like that's fucking interesting as shit. And that to me is
Mhm.
like, yeah, probably Hollow Earth. I would
Hollow
say
Earth.
with the Nazis in Antarctica, I think it's far more likely and just provable that yes, there were Nazi escapees. I don't think Antarctica was the place they went. I think it was fucking South America, and it was wherever else they could hide. You
Yeah.
know,
Where's a bunch
Um,
of white people that love Germans?
For
there
people
were
then, Tom,
pre-established
that
German colonies. It's just saying that's the whole point of fucking colonialism.
Yeah.
I know that anyone listening to this show on the regular is probably already going to know this, but for people that maybe don't know or are new to that whole theory, I guess what's a quick way of summing up exactly what Hollow Earth is?
So Hollow Earth is the idea that there's different theories, right? And that there's caverns within inside of the Earth's surface, which beings could be living in and existing. And this idea that like there's all that idea that grays are from within the Earth's surface and in futuristic beings that had to go were on a planet that the surface got destroyed and they need to live in caverns, so they adapted. That's actually a theory of what grays could be. Maybe the original gray, and they genetically modify them to these animatronic fucking robot slave beings or whatever. But this idea that there's cavern system, or the idea that supposedly that in the center of the Earth is another sun, and the Earth, why it actually spins is because it has a gravitational pull within inside of this, and that's the idea that the moon is also hollow. Like NASA sent off that thing. This probe that went too fast hit the moon. Supposedly it vibrated and rang like a bell for like 14 hours, which are like, okay, that's weird. It's got to be hollow because something that was solid wouldn't do that. And so the planet might be the same sort of thing, but on the outside of the planet, that's where we live. On the outside, but then on the in, it's almost like reverse, almost like it switches. Like when you go into Hollow Earth, all of a sudden you're on the other side, inside it's so hard to explain, but you go inside and it's upside down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like it's you go in, it feels like you're not upside down, but you really are in the idea of what we are. We're on the outside, they're on the inside. And then there's like cavern systems and luscious nature and forests that are beautiful, like the greatest and most beautiful Amazonian rainforest and stuff like that. And Hitler's down there riding on top of a T-Rex.
Was Journey to the Center of the Earth the first
Sometimes I gotta
thing that
breathe.
fleshed out Hollow Earth?
What do you
was
mean?
that
what?
the first
Did
example?
Brandon Fraser go and hang out there down there? Is that who went? Isn't that yeah? That's who went first, right?
Mm-hmm. That's yeah. And
But the journey to the center of the Earth is an idea that supposedly is presented, and that author was speaking about something that was could be true, and that's why we're gonna lead into the like. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do Operation Highjump as its whole thing and whole episode, and then do an extremely deep dive into Hollow Earth, because you could. Another thing that's gonna be another like close to 3 hours is because, if not longer, because it is so complex, because there are all these different theories, and then. Because I still have a couple things like, Buzz Aldrin. Did you hear about him going to Antarctica?
Nope.
Did you hear about him going to? You never heard about it? We're showing a picture of Buzz Aldrin saying, "Get your ass to Mars,"
because such a
supposedly
character.
knew. Because Buzz Aldrin might have had a heart attack while in Antarctica, which they did say. Because supposedly they briefed him on the situation with aliens, according to David Wilcock. And then they talk about how they get into it a little more in this talk, in that supposedly they you can essentially, if you have enough money, go in one of these slingshot style fucking spaceships where the gravitational pull slingshots you around the moon. and you're able to see the entire moon. And supposedly they did that to Buzz Aldrin and actually briefed him on stuff because they probably were lying to him the whole time and made him film something on a movie set and was like, yeah, we can't actually show the moon or space because it is way more teeming with aliens than we know of. And then supposedly he got slingshotted around the moon, and then he saw like the dark side of the moon where there were civilizations, and then he had a heart attack because the amount of information and the amount of stuff that they were showing him put an entire shock to his system, which they can trace that he at least had a heart attack in Antarctica. And then he also was briefed on stuff to do with Mars and how we can build civilizations there because the Cabal might be trying to wipe out us as a major population, or that they might do something like a nuclear weapon. So we'll go to Mars, which has already had a nuclear war, and we can live in the surface that the bases that the reptilians end up wiping out and eating all the Chinese people that are supposed to be there. Not my theories, okay? Those are not mine. I just find them fucking funny. So what do you think?
So
that thing about Buzz Aldrin, I do believe it could be true. That either they could have briefed him about the aliens, maybe who knows if they showed him the dark side of the moon. But I do believe that when he went to Antarctica, they were showing him some shit.
The whole hollow earth theory, I don't really know where I stand on a lot of it, but I had heard of, and I didn't realize until like a week ago that it was like related to the whole hollow earth thing. So there's I guess an Irish tie to this that like people over here probably would have heard, but not in the terms of like, oh, it's hollow earth or whatever. That there's a place known as Ireland's Gate to Hell. So it's an ancient cave from which, according to legend, strange creatures would emerge and be seen on the surface of the earth. There are also stories. Is there any
leprechauns there, man?
I don't think so. I think they're scarier than that.
People. Fairy folk are fun.
There are also stories of medieval knights and saints who went on pilgrimages to a cave located in Station Island, County Donegal in Ireland, where they made journeys inside the earth to a place of purgatory. In County Down, Northern Ireland, there is a myth which says the tunnels lead to the land of the subterranean. And then there's, I don't even know how to pronounce this, it's in Irish, but it's a group of people who are believed to be the first to introduce Druidism to Ireland. And once they did, they travelled back underground into the hollow earth. This place is now known as St. Patrick's Purgatory. It's an ancient site in Lochdarg, County Donegal. According to the legend, the site dates to the 5th century when Christ showed St. Patrick a cave, sometimes referred to as a pit or a well, and it was said that this was the entrance to purgatory. It's important. So yeah, like I didn't realize.
You should dive deeper into that for the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, theory, I didn't actually even realize. I had heard this before, but I didn't realize that like over the years now they've like tied this back to other versions.
Do you guys believe in giants? Like, do you think that it is possible that either giants could have existed or do on another form of existence on another planet?
I think it's perfectly logical to say that there, at one point in time, there was a humanoid, whether it be homo, whatever, or blah, blah, blah.
Oh, he's gay? Is he wearing high heels?
I knew that was coming.
I'm so happy you picked that low-hanging fruit. Get it? Fruit? Boo. God damn it.
Loved it.
Piece of shit derailed my fucking train of thought. Yeah, giants. I think it's entirely possible that there were a bigger humanoid type creature back
because it's in the Bible and stuff like that, and supposedly even in David Wilcock. I think there is drip fed things in the Bible of truth, like the Anunnaki and stuff that was like hidden within inside of the.
There's always I mean, the Bible is just a rip off of how many other fucking books.
It is. That's what I'm saying. I guess the Sumerian texts and some of these ancient scrolls and the Dead Sea Scrolls and all this fucking weird shit. But like, I don't know. There's some weird shit in like the stuff that David Wilcock dives into, because I fucking, that he supposedly looks just like Edgar Cayce, which is like a philosopher and a mystic to an extent. But I just want to mention again that Buzz Aldrin supposedly is a 33rd degree Mason. And remember that there's also 33 degrees above that in the reptilians.
So I got to believe that there are some shitty Masonic lodges, right? There are just some ones that are like the Animal House version of the Freemasons.
That's what I think, because
you have like the Illuminati ones, and then you have the ones that are like, you're a really established celebrity and you're a brand that we can sell. So yes, we will absolutely elevate you to the level of 33rd, but you're still a profane. We're not telling you shit. Like, you know, I think Buzz Aldrin is probably one of those Masons. I doubt very much that he has the secrets to the key, you know, and I think he's much more of a, hey, just tell people you're a 33rd. You get all the privileges, all that bullshit, because this lodge sucks and you're the highest person.
I do agree, because all those people are like, yeah, I'm a fucking whatever degree Mason. It's like, are you though? I don't know. Are you? Like, I knew a kid in school and he was like, I'm a 3rd degree Mason. And he was like 21, 22, when I'm like back to school and shit. And I was like, and he was like wearing a ring. I was like, you're not a fucking Mason. They're just like trying to molest your little butthole, bud.
Well, I mean, here's another thing too. What's stopping most people, other than, you know, other Masons, from walking around with a fucking ring on and telling people who don't know, be like, oh, you know, I'm Mason.
Yeah, I can get a Masonic ring, and they're like, you don't need that. You don't need to wear that because you're not one. And I was like, it looks fun though. Yeah. Like, bow and kiss my ring.
That's because symbols are cool. Symbols portray a whole, like when you see the Eye of Providence, what do you think of? You have like literally a whole segment of your brain that is just full of things that you would connect to that one symbol. And that's the power of symbols in and of themselves, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy because like even the David Wilcock stuff, like he dives into the idea that I get why people would like this, because I want to mention this, that he's very like positive, like the Alliance is taking down the Cabal, and you know, like they're gonna help us like ascend and all that stuff. And I'm onto his like 3rd or 4th book, and I find the shit interesting. It could be a fantasy novel or a sci-fi novel to an extent.
Does it give you hope?
It does give me hope.
That's all that matters, right?
And it's like any religion, right? So you know, everyone's faulty to their own beliefs and stuff like that. Where, you know, I want to believe in I want my life to be Star Wars. Okay, I'm sorry, but I do. I want to be Luke Skywalker. I want to be this little fucking bum fucking farm boy that like has to like go and fight the fucking galaxy, the Emperor's galaxy, or the fucking the Emperor of the galaxy, and then like have some sort of laser fucking fight with a sword. It sounds so much fun. And I want my dad to be the villain, and then I like help him fuck, you know what I mean? But he's like a reptilian that I gotta like bring back to becoming a nice boy.
Am I the only one that enjoyed Star Wars more when there was an extreme amount of ambiguity to the story? Because, and hear me out on this, the first 3 movies, it's not exactly made morally clear, other than, you know, when they blow up Alderaan, like that the Empire is really the bad people in that. Like it's much more like, are they? We don't know their practices. We don't know like what the state of the galaxy was before they were in power.
Who knows? Maybe Thanos is the good guy.
Yeah, that nihilist shit. Yes, exactly. But I don't know. The old joke about like, yeah, some kid gets radicalized into a desert religion, and
I really wish I timed that perfectly where I could have pulled one of my lightsabers out.
I like Star Wars back when it was called Dune.
Aaron's a big fan of Star Wars. Do you get what I'm saying? That I want to, like, you know, like how cool
I do. Yeah. I like, I watch the X-Files like on repeat, like a lot of people do with like something like Friends, and I want that to be my life.
Mm-hmm. Can we make a Friends X-Files?
Like I will say, in recent years, I've had to really try to like play devil's advocate more, because I used to be very just like, nope, that's the story I believe, and there is no other possibility ever. No way.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see at the same time, you know, when I read then the real version, then I'm like even me doing that kind of shows you where I stand with that as well, where I'm like, yeah, but you would say that though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because my whole thing is that they've lied before, they're going to lie again. It might be on the grain scale that we think this is, but I can say firsthand, if people understand me on this show, a lot of times I'm just fucking like, I don't know. I truly don't know what to believe. I don't really trust anything, so I don't really know what to believe. And I have the whole idea I've said numerous times where I'm not going to know till I'm fucking dead. So if I can live here believing that one day I will be like Luke Skywalker and I will go fight for my sister and kiss her and stuff. Like, who knows, right? Like that. I want to like, that who knows, maybe one day. I'm just joking about the sister stuff, but like, I do believe that that's a funner way to live.
I love how you shoehorned that in there.
You're like, I'm just kidding.
There's that, that's a fun way. I'll just be like the royal families, but that's a fun way to fucking think, right? And live. And I'd rather be like that. Like, people have their Jesus, their space god with a fucking, that seems to always be bearded with long hair. Like, it's their thing, man. I want my own thing.
You have your own thing, and nobody's taking your own thing from you.
Oh, fucking, this went to a funny place. So David Wilcock, and this idea that it's they're coming to save us, and he talks about these beings. I'm talking about the legitimately with elongated skulls, and supposedly that's why in a lot of religious depictions and in costumes that people that hang around the Pope and the Pope would wear, where these like cats look like a fish mouth, is because supposedly they're worshiping these some sort of gods, or they're actually hiding their fucking weird looking skulls. Sorry.
So the way like you refer to the whole religion thing and Christianity and like that whole, I guess, lore that they've built there and how a lot of it is bullshit.
Yeah.
Can you see the argument someone might make for somebody like David Wilcox of like he is also just selling you his version of lore?
Oh yeah, for sure. I know for a fact. I know that, man. I know that for a fact. That
now, I definitely, I definitely agree with. I could see myself slipping into that really easily because the way he, I think the way he conveys the story and like his version of events is there's like something really attractive about it, like you said, and especially for somebody like people like us maybe who want to believe that we're living in a fucking Star Wars universe or something. It's easy.
I think it sounds more fun to live like that than to be like, I'm just in the ground, because who knows what has actually happened. And like, even like mushrooms can show you things that like, hey, maybe it's not as real as we think it is. And who knows what the fuck reality actually is. Cause that's what, now that I've dived down that hole, I do believe a lot of times I've said to Chelsea, I was like, how do we know what reality really is? How do we know? Because in that state of mind you're in, and it feels like a different reality in some points, and you could connect to something else. But you know what? I don't believe everything that David Wilcox says, nor do I believe everything that David Icke says, or any of these other guys with the name David, like David Koresh. She could have been correct about some stuff. Who knows? But Anton's
conspiracy in itself. Why are they all called David?
Yeah, but like,
why? I ask you. That's the real questions we should be asking right now. Why are they all David?
I know it is, but I do believe it is that there's stuff that they got correct and there's stuff that could be totally true. But if David Wilcock really believes it, and so does Corey Good, fun. That's fun for them, and they make, I guess, money off of this stuff. And I like his books. They are an interesting read either way, and there is definitely stuff within the book that I do believe is completely real and correct, and led me down the thing of reading the Law of One, because David Wilcock always mentions it. But who knows, right? But I like that, David Icke is more like, they're all good. Like the reptilians are gonna, I can't do his accent, but the reptilians are essentially this evil race, and we have to like band together with love. That's the only way. That's one of his main things. It's like, band together with love. But a lot of his stuff was very like negative, and like the world is, which I do believe is a lot darker than, more fucked up than we'll ever think that it is. And that it's very surface level. But then David Wilcock is very like, like the alliance is coming in and they're going to save us. And it's like, he makes funny little dad jokes and stuff. And it's like, it comforts you. It puts you in a nice fleece blanket of conspiracy and keeps you warm at night.
Tucks you in, gives you a little kiss on the forehead.
Yeah. Maybe on the head if you're lucky.
Of course.
Oh man. Are you guys ready to, and he talks about the idea that there's ancient ruins inside, and these are pictures from like his site and what supposedly they depicted that they're
that's
digging.
What those fucking things were that we saw covered in snow.
Yeah, it could have been, because supposedly the Alliance is doing an expedition into the Antarctica, and there's actually ruins being found, which is fucking crazy. And sorry, I'm trying to bring up the other weird image of this stuff. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that is what that is. And maybe it just snowed a lot and they got covered up while they're trying to drive. But this is supposed to be what they're digging these big caverns and finding that ancient civilizations, like maybe connected to Atlantis. And that's where David Wilcock really goes, this idea that it's an ancient ruin. But he gets in this idea, and I'm just trying to find the pictures of what these beings look like. And they look like very well kept mummies. But they're like, weird looking, like pharaoh type, but not pharaohs from Egypt, like some sort of other deity from an ancient culture.
Well, mummies are common amongst many different, ancient cultures, mummification and shit. And you have like the bog mummies, you have like Egyptian mummification, you have like the Aztec mummification and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the bigger question. How did all of those, is it just parallel thinking? Like how did all of those societies come across that?
Can I do that? Can I do that? Because I would love to be turned into a mummy, or I want to be taxidermy. I want someone to turn me, and I want someone to put me in a corner like a bear. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I feel like you should be able to sell your body to a taxidermist.
100%. If I want to do it,
or donate it for that matter.
Do you want to be stiff everywhere?
Yes, I do. It sounds fun, and I want them to keep the rigor mortis, and make some fun use out of it. You know what I mean? Back it up on it. It's fine. I'll be dead.
Somebody, I know Tom wants like a cool taxidermy. I just want someone to turn me into some horrific creature. Like stitch me up with an octopus or something where
like
I have
like you're Justin Long and fucking Tusk, which
I was thinking Tusk, but I'm like, no, not Tusk. Like I want like you to make some eldritch horror out of me, like like pop the eyes out and just leave this like blank, like open face, and then like a second face somewhere or something.
That sounds fun. So the funnest theory of this of all is supposedly, and the most probably believable, is that the Alliance has connections in helping supposedly take down the Cabal, and that we only see figureheads, which we'll get into maybe on a Patreon episode. Wink, wink, hint, hint, which I'll talk about in a second. But this idea that supposed to be they're digging up stuff, and there's supposedly beings that look kind of like mummies, but they're supposed to be still alive, according to David Icke and Corey Good, because he's getting a lot of this information from Corey Good, who seems very natural in believing what he thinks he knows, and that these beings are actually still alive, and they're in some sort of like frozen status, and they've been like there for like thousands of years, and they supposedly they're if we have the technology, we could technically like I think revive them, which is fucked up if that's true at all.
Crazy.
Nobody believes me now, but one day it will all come true.
There will be a reckoning, and we will all humbly approach Tom and be like, "You were right the whole time. You were."
I got a question though for you fuckers to end this. Wait, Aaron, do you got something to say?
No, I was just going to say, would it be bad if I got that tattooed on me?
I would think that would be so funny. So funny. I'm definitely 1,000% getting some Strange Brew tattoos on me. The new design, I'll probably get the one of us in the bong, and I'll just add Aaron in and be like, can you just fit like some leprechaun in there? I'm just joking.
Cool,
that's what Babe, I got harassed for fucking so many episodes of Billy calling me a leprechaun because I'm not as tall as he is. Anton, you remember that? Constantly. All the time. It was fun.
Wait, what height is everybody?
I'm like 5'6". Like I'm like average. Average. No.
Like 6 foot, depending on how much I'm slouching.
Aaron?
I sit somewhere in the middle. I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
So I'm the shortest motherfucker on here. Don't worry, my cock is as thick as a tree trunk, though.
It's as thick as it is long.
Yeah, I got a choder. So answer me this, fucking bitches. Why did the world leaders go there recently? News has recently emerged of the global elites, aka the Cabal, going to Antarctica for a secret meeting. We know from public tweets that they actually fucking went. Glad I packed up a parka for this trip I'm about to make. Wink, wink, from Brad Garlinghouse.
And who is Brad Garlinghouse?
We'll talk about it in a second, but here's some other. This guy is. They're all connected to Mr. Klaus Schwab. Next up, Antarctica. Klaus Schwab. Just arriving in Antarctica, this will change everything. David Schwartz. So we'll talk about who these motherfuckers are. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. Christy Largard, and president of the European Central Bank attended a secret meeting in Antarctica. Two others present, not presented.
Wasn't very
Jesus Christ.
fucking secret though, was it?
But they do that. They drip fed things. According to David Wilcock, they have to, the Cabal and these evil beings have to show you what they're doing openly. It's an agreement that they made with other aliens and beings, essentially, that if you interfere with a race, if you show them what you're doing actively and you do nothing about it, they can kind of just keep going along with it, and they can just keep doing it because we're allowing it to happen by not doing anything about these underground pedophile rings that are controlling and using children for their adrenochrome, and then trying to say that the fucking global warming and the climate change is a real thing so they can lock you in your homes and take all the money and wealth and leave us this fucking VR fucking peasant race of fucking beings.
Some kind of Mad Max shit. We're all standing waiting for them to turn on the fucking water.
Two others were Brad Garlinghouse, which I like saying it that way, Garlinghouse, and David Schwartz, representatives, and the president and chief technical officer at Ripley Labs, a computer software company specializing in online payment systems. Because guess what they're fucking trying to do is implement the one world economy, because they're going to crash the economy, which we'll get into later on an episode about the Great Reset when that comes. But the 4 tweets from the elites, which began with them tweeting back in July 2021 that one of them, the chick, she was going to attend a meeting in Antarctica, and has generated much speculation. It appears that there's a major turning point has reached of the global elites and are being summoned to Antarctica to meet with a delegation. Sorry, give me a second. They're going delegation. They're going to meet with a delegation of extraterrestrial races and the Earth Alliance leaders to negotiate the terms of their surrender. Antarctica was chosen for the meeting because it contains a portal that can transport the global elites to a distant world in another galaxy where they will be pretty much imprisoned they'll be watched over and forever banished. Prior to leaving the new world, however, they have first steps to help transition of the globe's financial systems and undo the black magic that has been cast to keep humanity and itself under this bondage that we live in.
So they reckon that the average Antarctica cruise costs between $5,000 and $8,000. So what I say we do is we start a GoFundMe to raise the money for the 3 of us to go. But we need to bring enough gear that we can jump off the ship, and we'll go and find out for ourselves.
I've heard dumber ways to commit suicide. Let's do it.
And well, there's so many other things that could be a GoFundMe that we could definitely do before I choose to. But they're supposed to be, right? We'll get into it on the Hollow Earth episode. But I did work with a guy that told me that there's an entrance to Hollow Earth in Toronto in the sewer system.
He's seen it.
He's going to go there. He told me he wanted to go there. And this was like a guy that like a sportsy guy that like a tall dude that played basketball. And then like, he's like, one of my buddies I grew up with worked there, and he told them, he's like, and then we were working together, and we cooked on, essentially it was like a rooftop where you could look over this lake, and we're up there and we cook and shit like that. And, he was like, so he looked at me, he's like, I heard you're into conspiracy theories. And he's like, have you heard about the Hollow Earth? I was like, of course I have. And then he told me that there is supposed to be an entrance in Toronto in the sewer system, and that people have went down there, and there was like military signs and stuff like that say you cannot go any further. And I think we should try to go there first. We will meet the fucking lizard man from Spider-Man.
Sounds a bit suspect though when a dude that you kind of know asked you, hey, you want to go hang out in the sewers with me?
Yeah, I was like, I think you almost got serial killed.
Yeah, or a reptilian was trying to lure me to the Hollow Earth so we could eat my flesh.
He was going to use your meat suit.
Yeah. So that might come on a Patreon episode. I do have an entire talk of probably gibberish, but hopefully if it holds any validity, that'd be awesome. Let's take down the Cabal. And, if we don't have to do anything and some aliens will do it for us, that's great. But that's probably not likely. So everyone get off their ass and fucking wake up and get to the program, because the shit is going to hit the fan in the next 10 to 50 years, if not less.
How long do you think it takes just statistically, after ousting an oppressive government, for that government that's set in place to end up the same way.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, maybe if the reptilians didn't control everything and use their negative energy to keep us in a state of depression and fear, so they can feed off that fear, like we're some sort of fucking cow that they eat, because that's what they do. And like we said before, supposedly after fucking World War II, when all the bodies were in Russia, the aliens said it was the biggest feast. The reptilians said it was the biggest feast that they've ever had, and supposedly somebody knew this by regressing and playing backwards George W. Bush Sr.'s vocal recordings of him talking, and they played it backwards, and you could hear his true intentions that they did, yes, eat many bodies after the war and use the energy of the dead souls. Fun.
You are really on one today.
I fucking am. Well, I told you, I'm going deep on this shit, and it's fun. And like I said, there is a Patreon episode which we could talk, which I think would be kind of fun, about this whole idea that supposedly the Alliance is taking down the Cabal, and they have to meet there's a whole thing. It could be even like, it's at least close to an hour of like discussing their meeting at Antarctica, and what is going to transpire from this and all that shit. And you know what? Listening to David Wilcock stuff, I was like, how awesome it'd be if this stuff was actually real. And part of me is like, no, we're all going to fucking die. Every time I do mushrooms, I'm like, we're all just going to die one day and become the earth.
That's what mushrooms tell me too. Like every time I do mushrooms, they're just like, no, the natural order is the way that it is, and it's fine. It's just how it works. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
But I will be. Give me a sec. You guys keep talking.
And I don't mean natural order like that natural law bullshit that people believe that are just like blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, no, I think there's, it's just at one point we cease to be sentient organic matter and we just become organic matter. It's like, and I know a lot of the spiritual things that people like to use is the energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change forms. But like, I've always especially when, I take a trip or what have you, like my brain's like, no, energy. Yeah. It's not being destroyed. It's changing forms. It's just,
I am Luke Skywalker. Okay. I should have grabbed the blue one. It would have went a little better. But...
Well, no, it works for your I want to be Luke Skywalker bit.
I have two lightsabers, just so everybody knows on the audio. I have my Return of the Jedi green lightsaber that Luke held in the movie. It's just a replica. It's not actually the one.
No, it's real from the time he actually used it.
Wow.
Like, not the movie now, about the actual story.
We were at Toys R Us yesterday.
Story that Star Wars was based on. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. We were at Toys R Us yesterday, and
did you get a toy because you were being a
good boy? Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you go through some fucking Stargate portal?
We still have them fuckers in Canada.
Yeah,
we didn't go bankrupt.
So mad at you that you still have them.
We also have Echo, which is bankrupt in the States, but not in Canada.
Echo.
You know what? Echo is so strange. Mark Echo.
Oh, the clothing company. You guys still have Echo, but Mark Echo is out of business. Okay, yeah.
Anyways, and I saw the Force X lightsaber, like another one, and I was like, I want that. Just like, you have two already, and I'm like, I really want the ones that you can make yourself. You can change everything. You can pick the hilt.
That seems fun.
The one you can do in
$400.
That experience you can do.
Oh, whoops! I didn't know what it is. You see what I was doing? I was doing a Jedi stance, but it looked very.
So what we need to do there now is I need to get that timestamp so I can screenshot that, and that's going to be the thumbnail.
3 hours and 2 minutes.
Whoops!
That's going to be the thumbnail.
I did not mean to do that. I was just trying to do the Anakin fucking.
What were you saying there, Aaron? Before Arian Skywalker over there was. That
experience that you can do in Disney in Florida now, where you go in and you can build your own lightsaber and they bring you through the whole thing. You pick your crystal and you pick all your different. Man. It costs $500, but it's like a whole thing.
I would be rock hard the entire time, and then when it's finally made and I turn it on, I would come.
Yeah, because they make you do that, and the spotlight comes down on you. I think when you turn it on, it's this whole thing.
Legit, really?
I feel like
I have Yoda come out and fucking suck my dick.
I now want to know the percentage of men that cum their pants when they make a lightsaber, because it's the whole experience. They're just like, oh.
And then
horror movies and Star Wars is my true nerddom, because I've said this before, right? When I was 7 years old, I looked out my window in my bedroom and I prayed for a lightsaber.
I thought you were going to say
Who
you saw
didn't?
Anakin or somebody fly by,
I
pod
prayed for a
racing
lightsaber.
past your house.
Anakin was pod racing with David Icke, and Tom was like, someday I'll be in that race.
So just so everyone is aware, obviously, right, this will lead up eventually to our whole discussion about Hollow Earth. As much as like I would love to, I'll try to convince Billy to come on some of these longer format ones, but he won't be able to leave my house because he won't stop drinking beer. And then he won't be able to drive home and I'll have to deal with that shit. So fucking, because he's like, I can't sit for fucking 4 hours. Like, you can if you choose to. But he drinks fairly fast. Like even the one we were doing, I was like, you're on your third beer and it's been 35 minutes. Fucking slow your roll.
Good.
But I on the Dover Demon episode, I drank straight whiskey for the first time in a long time on a podcast, and I was like, I had to cut out where I like zoned out. I was like, give me a second, because I smoked a weed pen, and I was like, all right, I need to recoup my brain for a second. But this is leading into a lot of stuff, obviously, for the people, right? Christmas special. Even if you're listening to this in July or some shit for some reason, make sure you check out the Christmas special, because that's actually when Jesus was born. But the Christmas special is going to be fucking awesome. There's going to be a lot of fucking stuff for that. We're doing Krampus kind of as Strange Brew redo. And if you guys remember, Billy consistently talked about how Krampus raped people and not punished them on the original one, which has been now since forgotten. But if people really do want it, I will put it on the Patreon. I will put the original Krampus episode on the Patreon if people want it, but it has since been gone. That's the Lost Tapes episodes type shit. But I want you guys to make sure that you're tuning into the Christmas special, because just like the Halloween one, it's going to be hilarious, except for Aaron will be joining us, and it will be all four of us, which should be a fucking riot.
I love your little hand correction when you were doing the lightsaber thing again. You just turned it into a fist real quick.
Did not mean to do. I legitimately did not mean to do that. I looked in the camera and I was like, "Oh, weird. It looks like I'm fucking." Because for people that didn't see, I had the lightsaber over my head with like kind of like my arm out, like some sort of Jedi stance, but I had my one hand in a very direct, flat pose, so it looked like I did not.
Ooh, you're getting dangerously close there again. That time when you were demonstrating.
We're just gonna, Aaron. We'll just pick up all the clips of him like complimenting the Nazis, and then we'll end it with that. And
like, it's crazy because like I was joking about Kanye and stuff like that, but like if for some reason we got famous or whatever, and then someone's like, Tom said that he like fucking loved Hitler, and then all I have to do is take that little portion and then just like edit it. It's so easy, because Kanye under that Bella cloth thing, that probably wasn't Kanye, that was probably some disinformation agent that was actually trying to, because in this day and age, right, how do you don't kill someone nowadays with a gun or some sort of poison, you just discredit them and destroy their character, and then they become then nobody believes them and they go poor and broke like Alex Jones.
That was a reptilian under there.
Yeah. See? So
but
it's all a conspiracy.
I will say,
remember,
right?
Take nothing seriously on this show. Nothing.
It wasn't a mask.
Nothing.
That was actually Kanye's shadow form.
Take nothing seriously except the fact that what I said about before the show about Tom's support of the Nazis and all that was all true.
I'm not the one who has Nazi memorabilia in your home. I saw your fucking flag, man. I saw
it. Only took him just over 3 hours for the cracks start to surface where he can't hold it in anymore, and he's just doing the salute.
I cannot do a German accent. That's all I could do. It's just like scream, like I kind of sound half German.
What's that?
That sound good?
What's that? What was the German anthem during those years? We gotta put that behind Tom when he makes the hand.
There's did you ever see those epic?
I love Kraut. I love Klaus.
Did I ever see the what?
Epic rap battles.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Hitler versus Darth Vader. Yeah. That's the connection now.
Your two favorite
connection
things
comes true.
That's
fucking funny though.
Because they both have stormtroopers.
Who's your favorite?
Not that.
He's like Darth Himmler. Darth Himmler is my favorite.
Not that. That's fucking very funny though. I do enjoy that. But remember, take nothing seriously. Everything is a joke. I do not have Hitler's manifesto underneath my bed. It's a joke, everybody. Okay?
It's a thick book, and Tom's one bed leg broke, so it's actually holding it up pretty well.
I'm fascinated by all the world wars, but do I believe that they were essentially set up so they could take all the gold and put it into the Federal Reserve? Most likely, because for some reason all the banks were like, "Oh, the Federal Reserve's like, we can take your money. See, we can take it. We'll keep it nice and safe." And then the United States became the superpower of the world. And next in line is China. 2032 is the prediction. Fun. I love conspiracy talk. I haven't done it in a while, and I went full retard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to see you do? I want to see you do what I think a lot of these guys do, and I want you to come up with your own version of all this stuff, because I think you would be really good, like, at making a presentation where you're just like spin off stuff.
Did I ever tell you about, like, to end this is my presentation? So I went back to school, right? I dropped out. I started working, and I was like, you know what? I should go and actually try. And I did well. Like, and I was like, wow, when I actually put my mind to stuff and wasn't just consistently smoking weed and doing ecstasy, I fucking could survive. I could actually, you know, fucking not be so stupid. And I was very deep in conspiracies when I was young. And I was like, who needs fucking school? I don't know why I go like some sort of fucking down south bum when I'm, but essentially, and then I was in anthropology, and then I was like, if you give me 99%, can I do a presentation on aliens? I was like, I'll do it like pro bono. Like, you don't even have to ask me. And it's funny because I was 21, I think, when I went back to school and finished. It took me like literally a couple months, and this guy was 23. I was like, okay, you're my teacher and you're about the same age as me, so let's fucking do this. And he said yes. So I did a whole presentation about the Greys and showed that Russian supposedly photo or video of him that the KGB took or of them. And I discussed all this stuff of alien abduction. I mentioned Barney and Betty Hill. And afterwards, silence. Nobody said shit. And I was like, does anyone have any questions? And then one girl's like, how do you know if your kid's been vaccinated without your knowledge? And I was like, you wouldn't know. She's like, because my baby was taken away from me for a couple hours or whatever. And I was like, oh, they probably shot him up many times and I was like, there's probably microchips in there. True story. They let me do an alien presentation. I didn't go that far with that, like saying that shit, but like he let me do an alien presentation, and it gave me 99%. And I was been into this for a very long time. And it was funny. I was like, does anyone have any questions? And everyone just didn't know what to say. Like, why did they let him do this? Fun stuff. A little look into who the fuck I am and like how crazy I was.
I think you're a government plant, to be honest.
Might think so. I might be, and I might not even know it. But like, you know, there's part of me on my mushroom trips where I've looked in the mirror and it looks snake-like, and I'm like, oh no. It's just like I'm seeing the reptilian part of my brain come through.
You're Justin Trudeau's nephew, aren't you?
No, don't even say that, man. Don't even say that. This doesn't age well, because in 10 years, people are gonna be like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, he's the guy that destroyed Canada. Canada was never the same after he
newly discovered information finds
I don't know. You
Trudeau's long lost nephew.
Get the fuck out of here. All right.
You bitch about Trudeau enough that we could very well use the lady doth protest too much argument to say that you are. Yeah.
I don't think you're part of the gay community, Anton. I think you're secretly straight. I think that you're trying to tap in and destroy the community from within.
Damn it! Foiled again.
And Aran is actually German,
back into
and
my
he's
hole.
pretending he's Irish and that he was enslaved by some sort of beings, but he really wasn't.
And this would be the perfect way to make everybody think the opposite, because you would have a show about this stuff, so no one would ever suspect you, right?
Yeah. Come meet I would hope if I was that way, I would have a larger house, way more money, and I wouldn't be breaking my back working as a laser.
But that's
operator.
what they'd want.
That's your
everybody
cover
to think.
story. You're not actually doing that. Like,
how would I have time for that between this fucking show and all the goddamn research I do, so these can be enjoyable and people can believe in stuff like elves and fucking fairy people and aliens?
You have production assistants.
I wish, man.
I believe that, to be honest. You're actually on a soundstage right now. Has anyone ever seen what's behind that camera?
No, we've only seen the angles that
You
you've shown
don't
us
want
for his
to.
videos.
Fuck off. I've showed Anton when Frank was hanging out with his fucking hat on. It's like nothing but clothes because I have way too many clothes.
Movie studio. I don't believe it. It's a fake set.
Shit, I want to knock over my coffee. Does this look like a set?
That's just like one of those bullshit videos that you see of the astronauts in space.
It's a deep fake,
where they forget that there's fucking no gravity and shit.
I was like, what is playing? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny? All right, I had a lot of fun on that. Believe whatever you'd like to believe about me. I couldn't give a fucking shit.
You had a blast up until the middle part where you just looked so defeated, and I.
It's all true. Who knows? It's all true though. Okay, because he probably went there and he probably slept with some little boys up there, or down there, wherever we're going. Next stop. Jesus Christ. We were talking about the North Pole, Santa, and Krampus.
Yeah.
So get ready for that.
That's gonna be fun.
I am so ready. I have a fun costume. Just wait.
As do I.
Okay. All right. Everybody love everybody. You know the drill. Unless you're, I don't love everybody. I'm starting to maybe
Love,
it's not,
love everybody, you say?
our whole thing for a long time was love everybody. And when I got into a beef with one unnamed individual, they were like, "You're supposed to be everybody love everybody," until you're a fucking government idiot that fucking believes that the world should be locked down for the benefit of the rich. Yeah, that's the truth.
Everybody love everybody. Come on.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell you. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
It's after somebody. It's stuff about the government and the shots, and I jokingly went off on somebody, said some fucking funny, horrible shit, but it was fun, and I never really give a shit. It's like I got to end this on this. It was very funny. I posted a video that got thousands of views, like almost 40,000 views on TikTok. Essentially, about me saying like how like nobody's standing up, how they're slowly and like obviously the stuff is encroaching of the world changing and the new world order coming in, and Canada is being destroyed. It's getting harder and harder to live. Everything's getting more and more expensive. There's a lot of things, and it's all over the world. This stuff's happening, and people are getting pissed off, and it's going to boil over eventually. And then somebody in the comments, and their name was Woke Leftist Activist, and they wrote, "You fat fascist communists." What else did they say? Fat fascist communist, something else, like 20 times in big lettering. And I was like, wow, you need help. You are fucking mentally ill and probably need to seek some sort of therapy. And that's what this society is making out, is all this crazy shit. And this is what conspiracy can do too. Because then you have people arguing about each other, is the earth fucking flat or not, instead of like standing up together and be like, okay, we have a common goal. We all want to live together in harmony, most people, and have sustainability and money and be able to do things and travel and live. If everyone worked together, that would be possible. It all could be free. Sorry for my little tangent, but yeah, I got called a fat fascist. And I'm like, do you even know what the word fascist means? Like, are you confused? Like, it's so fucking weird. Strange. It's strange how people on the woke left movement think that fascism is people fighting against their tyrannical government. So strange. Weird. You should go back to fucking 1940s Germany and go live there as a Jew and see what the fuck happens.
Well, fascism is not Nazism, but
it is to an extent, though.
No, it is. They coincide in certain angles, but Nazism is a monster in and of itself.
For sure.
And it's the same thing with people on the right who believe that socialist programs are inherent.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't agree with that either. It's weird how people like on that side believe in socialism too. It's fucking strange, and I don't adapt to any belief. But this will all lead up to like different talks and what's going on, because there's a lot of shit in the world that is starting to turn for the sour. But according to David Wilcock, it's all going to be all right because the Alliance is going to wipe out the Cabal. So that's fine.
Hope.
I love it. This was fun as fuck. I enjoyed myself. What's with the thumbs down, you fucker?
Boo, David Wilcox.
Go fuck yourself. Why does everyone always need to do this to me? Everyone, because I'm a happy-go-lucky guy when it comes to conspiracy theories, and everyone wants to shit on me for it and make fun of me. But you remember, I don't give a fuck.
We were not making fun of you. We were making fun of the theories.
Oh man, they're fun. It's fun. I deplore you to read one of David Wilcock's books and tell me what you think after. Did it excite you? Did you like it? Is it interesting in any way? And shut the fuck up.
And if I can't make it through the first couple chapters,
then you should probably go back to reading your fucking.
Because you've spent all your time like this.
Rolling your eyes. Yeah, then you can go back to reading Mein Kampf, okay? Mein Kampf couch.
I'm definitely not even
He's going to send you a copy.
Yeah, fuck off. Oh my god, what a fucking weird turn. All right, next up, Hollow Earth. But before that, we're gonna make a trip and say hello to
The other
according
next
to
stop
Billy.
before the next stop.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
it's
next
North
stop.
Pole, and we're gonna so don't worry because according to Billy, Krampus just rapes the kids and doesn't actually punish them, so that will be fun.
Interesting.
All right, everybody, love everybody. Everybody have fun. Any final thoughts?
I refuse to speak over that.
Yeah. Same.
All right. You know what to do. You know where to find us, www.strangebrewttv.com. You can also obviously buy merch, would be a great help. I'm wearing one of our designs right now. I do love this design. It's a Strange Brew podcast with Bigfoot giving the middle finger. It's all of our stuff, booze, alien stuff. We got new designs coming that are going to be really fun. There's a bunch up there that I've created and other stuff that's coming from Shane at Tron's Universe. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So yes, that's a good way to support us. And it's cheap as fuck because it's that I made it cheap for a reason. So you wait. Okay, carry on. Somebody's at
You
your
guys
door.
froze there. I don't know what's happened.
Oh, I hear a doorbell.
Yeah, I hear a doorbell as well.
That could have been
Ding
mine.
dong.
I'm not sure.
All right. I don't have a doorbell, so.
I also don't have a doorbell.
So then it is mine, I guess.
All right, shout out your shit. Let's fucking do this. We got lots of fun stuff coming for First Class Horror.
Yeah, First Class Horror on Instagram and classhorrorcast.com. I'm also going to make a new website exposing davidwilcox.com.
Get the fuck out of here.
And yeah, so look out for that.
How do you explain how much he looks like fucking Edgar Casey? And Edgar Casey.
I don't know, but I don't like. Isn't that dude that was like the sleeping clairvoyant or something?
Yeah, he predicted shit that legitimately came true.
But nothing that David Wilcox has ever predicted has ever come true.
You're right. You are right. You are right. I'm still waiting out for it. I have the golden ticket when he chooses to take me aboard his mother.
Do you know what the worst part about this is, though? I want it to be real. I want.
According to Buzz Aldrin, he had a heart attack because it was real. Get your asses to fucking Mars, people, before Elon Musk puts a fucking Neuralink in your brain and makes you think that he's going to make you see after you've been fucking blind, when he's just going to cast images in your brain to make you think you see something that's not actually real.
If anyone, like, do you trust Elon Musk to run Twitter? I'm not letting him put a fucking chip in my head.
I don't trust that fuck. Everyone's like, he's a cool, nice guy.
No,
He's
the makings. He's Bezos. He's the makings of a supervillain.
Bezos. When he's got like the robot arms, it's like, you're a fucking psychopath, dude.
All right, devil's advocate on that too. I defy anyone with even a remotely malicious intent to not be like, ha! If you put on robot arms.
All right, Anton. We will see
Invader
each other.
Daggett TTV, motherfuckers, come over,
Yeah.
say hi on Twitch. We got the What's Up mask, so
Check
we're doing
out,
a lot of goofy
yeah.
Ghostface shit, and House of Trash, of course.
There's fun stuff coming for that, but make sure to check out First Class Horror because we actually do have a fun double feature coming of Jack Frost and the Ginger Dead Man, which I'm fairly excited about. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You can hear us be goofballs while we watch fucked up fucking horror movies.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Get your ass to Mars.